if this works or not. I don't know. All right, you guys, let's rock. Sorry for the delay. Could someone jump on the YouTube stream and see if it's like working and stuff? I don't even know if it's working. There is none. Cool. Hey, real quick, guys, we're live. We're going. Good? Good? All right, if y'all are tuning in from home, I'm here with some of my closest students right now. We're in Vegas, and we're going to run, we'll probably stream for you guys, not for too long today, but we're going to run a little bit of a kind of trading psychology masterclass this morning. And let's see, real quick. I'm not getting to questions if you have questions at home for now, but we'll open it up for Q&A a little bit later. Okay. Let's see here. So we're going to kind of pick up where we left off yesterday. Okay. We're going to kind of pick up where we left off yesterday. We're going to talk quickly, some quick chart psychology one more time, a little bit of market psychology, very, very quick. And then we're going to get into individual, like our individual trading psychology stuff. Okay. Now, the biggest part of changing your trading psychology for me, one of the biggest parts, I also do have to look at the trading itself. I got to look where I'm entering stocks, what days I'm playing these stocks, how I enter them. Am I chasing? You know, am I being super aggressive trying to get into these things and chasing through highs and stuff like that? What areas of the charts are you playing in? Okay, because each area of the chart, as you guys have started to understand, has its own trading psychology. You know, they all have their own trading psychology. So breakouts, what does that trading psychology look like? Well, you are trying to get into a stock with everyone else, every other new trader, everyone impulsively. It is the most emotional part of a chart for the most part. Okay. Breakout. You have short sellers who are going to cover through highs. They get really scared, right? Some of them. And just look at the volume that comes through highs of day, the most volume ever. And then it goes back to this dynamic we talked about yesterday. Small cap, all the tickers that we trade are scams. They're all scam companies. All of them are dumping, right? So we're going to get back to the big picture stuff from yesterday. They're all dumping. So we have to put ourselves in the right places. We don't want to be dumped upon, okay? So that being in mind, we talked about it yesterday. If I had 5 million shares to dump on a company, where would I dump them? I'd dump them straight through high a day. Breakouts. That's where I would sell them, because you need what? You need liquidity. We always talk about this, right? I would need liquidity to get rid of 5 million shares. Okay. A lot of liquidity. So that's the point. Through highs, through intraday highs, if you're a stock and you have shares to dump, if you're a small cap stock, you're going to dump them there. I promise. That's what they do. It's the only way they really can. You know, outside of this toxic dilution where it's just in discount to VWAP and they run the stocks down, which we've been talking about all the way down to 10 cents or so. So that being said, let's talk. We're going to run through one more time really, really quickly. Or actually, no, we don't have time for that. Hold on. But specifically breakouts, okay? The psychology behind the breakout. I don't mind playing them, but you guys see how I play them. I try to get good entries and swing into the breakout if I can, so that I don't have to worry about, you know, jumping into a stock that is that emotional, right? With that many dangers at such high levels. If I'm trading breakouts, man, and I screw this up, I'm sorry, and it doesn't work, which is a lot. It is the top. You're buying at the top, right? I don't like any strategy where it might be the top. Does that make sense? I really don't like buying anywhere where it actually might be the top, which in small cap is anytime anything that's spiking might be the top, right? Anything that's spiking to new highs, that might be the top every single time, which dictates what we were talking about yesterday, sizing out. All right. Sizing out, not caring, buying patience. I can buy my way to hopefully the next leg up. Does that make sense? I can buy the patience. Everyone asks me, how you're so patient? I'm like, I'm not. Watch me trade. I get rid of I have price targets. I sell into them. And sometimes I am not patient enough. Sometimes I'm too patient with some shares. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm not that patient. I'm patient. If I have 10,000 shares, I can be patient with 1,000 of them after I've locked in 9,000 of my shares. And I'm green on the trade, and the trade has been completely de-risked, right? That being said, so if not breakouts, you know, there are so many reasons I don't like breakouts, but these are just a few, obviously. Not to mention my results have been poor trading them. But, okay. I think I deleted yesterday's illustrations, unfortunately, but it's all good. Okay, let's get into so there's they are trading the trading psychology for me works off of my actual trading itself, the executions, the entries, the exits, the trade planning, right? The process, everything that goes into it. At the end of the day, all of these things are going to dictate our psychology. And big parts of my process are designed to deal with how fucked up it is here in small cap and just trading in general. Okay. It doesn't matter where you're trading, it's going to be a psychological mess. And I've pretty much come to the conclusion that all of our problems are just based on how we're wired. Almost all of us. There aren't many of us who are wired to come in and buy a red candle for no reason, you know, buy dips, in other words, buy weakness. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't serve us really in life. Okay. So, and a lot of things that serve us in everyday life, like our instincts for survival and stuff, right, don't serve us in the markets. In fact, they do exactly the opposite. Those impulses are the impulses of a new trader or a bad retail trader to chase through highs of day, and all of that stuff are the exact reasons the computers are able to screw with us so badly. The algorithmic traders, hedge funds, we are super predictable, right? Humans, we're all the same when we get into the markets. I haven't met one person who came in and just like didn't chase, right? I've never met one person who came in just and intuitively started dip buying, started buying red candles and weakness. Okay. I've not met one yet who's like, oh, that's how I started. You know, I've never chased, or, you know, I've never wanted to chase through highs. Okay. Which makes zero sense. We have to buy low, sell high, right? Which is why almost every strategy I have now has price targets that coincide with everyone else's entries, with every other guru, every other breakout, any breakout of a chart, any of the commonly known 3 candle patterns or candlestick patterns. Okay. Any of these, say we have like an ascending wedge or a pennant or whatever else in those breakout, I'm supposed to sell there too. I don't care what the setup is. If it says breakout in it, I got to figure out a way to sell some there if I want to have edge in this market as a long retail trader, right? Big deal. Big deal. So even the way I've been swinging stocks lately has been based off of this, that I don't want to trade the breakout, but I wouldn't mind being there for a breakout, you know, when we have like a macro like Hub C with Israel going on and stuff. Again, it's not been a great sector. It's not. It's kind of unfortunate, you know, but I think it has to do with the macros involved with this war at the moment, which we won't get into really, but that's the idea. Any questions there for now? We went over it pretty thoroughly yesterday in terms of risk reward and stuff like that, and the major differences between the dip buy and the chase. Okay, so Yeah, it's a swing trade though. I was in it from the 40s on a dip. All right. I was in it from the 40s for a swing. And then I added some on this day, I believe. So now my average is in the 50s or so. And I locked this here and here a little bit. So I've done some locking. Yeah, I mean, it's a real clean, if you look back here, if you look back to, super clean. All right. Super clean area that it's working on right now, which is why I like it. And there's still have war going on in Israel and what's going on over there. So, but I'm not trying to talk about tickers today. Okay. Especially right now. It's the idea behind it. It's the idea behind I don't like trading breakouts. So if I think a stock is going to break out, I would rather position myself for it. Uh-huh. And it's not a little piece. I have 50,000 shares. It's not the biggest piece, but I have a piece, kind of decent piece of it. Um, and the idea is exactly that. So there's two things I can do if this breaks out. I can try to trade the breakout independently of my position. Okay. So in other words, I can add to the 50. I could get up to 100 or something with tighter risk up there though. Okay. Trade it as a separate position. And that would kind of be the idea. That's my idea here. But this goes with almost all of my strategies too. You know, this is just when it comes to breakouts, if I'm trying to swing trade, if I'm playing morning reversals, if I'm playing afternoon reversals, it doesn't really matter what I'm playing. If I'm playing reverse split pumps, like this is the mind frame for me. Use the range that the charts give you, wherever the breakout level that you can, and this is where for me, there's some creativity. There's quite a bit of it to the long side. Okay, to the long side. Shorts are basic. They're basic bitches. It goes to highs, they short it, they risk high a day. Some of them are more creative, okay? But you don't want to be that creative, in my opinion, as a short seller, okay? You want to be patient. You want to risk key levels. You want it to get to key levels and then get good risk and then cut in case it blows your account up, okay? So for shorts, it's very basic. Hopefully they're waiting for stocks to be extended and the stocks spike into levels and then they short it with risk at highs. Very simple. With me and with longs and with us, there's more creativity involved, okay? Because stocks, when they haven't printed yet, we are kind of forecasting. You know, we're doing certain things that are just a lot different than short sellers for me. In terms of being profitable over time, and all the strategies that I've come up with have come from creativity. I don't think people talk about it. It's just like, I don't want to be too creative. I don't want to be like, I want my perspective to match the markets. And that's where that part of process comes in, where I'm always trying to make my perspective match what's actually happening in the markets. I don't want to be like thinking these stocks are going to run more than they are, but I also don't want to underestimate them. I'm always trying to kind of be right in it, right? Understand how far they can move this week. How far can they move this week? How far did they move last week? Does that make sense? That's what we always talk about. All that matters is what happened Friday to me. Okay? And last week as a whole. Which we'll talk about tomorrow during pre-market prep and stuff like that. But all right. If someone can just intermittently, like, just check the YouTube stream and see if it's still working. I'm not checking it. Thanks, buddy. My man. Thank you. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. Okay. So if not breakouts, then what, right? We talked about it yesterday. We talked about gap and crap reversals on short time frames. We talked about them on longer time frames. Okay. Lately, the best reversals have been longer time frame reversals, man. So not the morning 10-minute, 15-minute reversal. Those have been kind of shitty. They've been all-day faders, or at least all morning faders, till about 11 or 12 Eastern, right? A lot of them have been finding their bottom finally, well under VWAP down there. And the cool part is, At minimum, you can usually get it towards VWAP at least. So if there's some decent range, you can get it back towards VWAP and have a good trade there with solid risk reward, not chasing. And this gets back to the psychology, all right? And we're not going through individual strategies on this right now. We're just talking about the psychology behind everything. But when trading weakness, what happens when stocks are weak? Not when they're cracking really hard, but when they're weak and they're heading towards support. Generally speaking, you get a decrease in volume, right? What happens when you trade a breakout? You get what? An increase in volume, all right? So now, if you're trading a breakout, you have to compete with every other noob and their mother to get shares there, right? And where do you risk? I don't know. So like Hub C, for example, if this breaks out next week, right? If it's able to break out, what? If. I always go with if. When I say when in my head, things get fucked up for me. Yeah. There's no when, it's if. But when and if, or if and when and or, this does break out, right? My whole issue is like, where do I risk? Well, you can risk the breakout level. You're going to get stopped there. You are almost every time. All right. And then where does the stock go? You know, where does the stock go from there? Like if this breaks out, it's going to do wacky volume. The main point I'm trying to make is that through highs a day, through all these areas where stocks, anytime a stock breaks new highs, that's going to be the most volume of the day most of the time on stocks. All right. Which means you're competing for price. You're literally competing for price with everyone. It's like the housing market, how messed up that is with the lack of inventory, you know? But when I was looking for homes in Austin like a year and a half or 2 years ago, I would go to an open house and there'd be 50 people there. And the home would go for $200K over asking price cash. All right? That's a breakout. That's like trading a breakout. I'm serious. It's like trading a breakout, okay? It's tough. Everyone's trying to get it. Some people are going to pay premiums to get in. And at the end of the day, there's someone there usually waiting to dump on you. You know what I mean? There's someone there with the millions of shares and they're going to dump. They're going to dump it. It doesn't mean I don't trade them. It means that I just understand the dynamic. And if I'm trading them, I better be doing good volume. So that's the dynamic. When I'm dip buying, volume comes down. It's always because everyone's scared. You know, everyone's panicked out. A lot of people have sold already. So the best reversals for me, it's not a really fast turn. You know, you have time. You can be patient. You can actually get filled on the bid if you want. You know what I mean? You're not just market ordering in through highs and stuff. Risk, you can quantify risk and reward when you sell into highs. Maximize it, right? So let me see. Wish I had my other computer. We have other examples of it, but I know you two have to go. So we're actually going to jump into something really quick. We're going to switch gears, okay? Because we didn't get to do our one-on-one this week. So we're going to go right into trader therapy, all right? We're going to do a quick trader therapy session. Some of you have never done this. Some of you are in the group with me, and we do this all the time, every week. So, but the trading, so we kind of covered the first part for me of trading psychology, which is entries. Okay, how the hell am I supposed to have good trading psychology buying through highs? Not possible. You know, it just isn't. Every time I trade them, I'm a schizophrenic. You know, pick your risk level. Okay, pick your risk level, obviously. But it just never feels good. It just doesn't feel good competing with people. I know people are dumping there. I know it's possibly the top. So even though I can get tight risk reward up by a breakout, I don't like the macro that it might be the top in case I don't sell or something happens. You know, it's just not good. So we're going to jump into trader therapy, which is what we do every week. And that's just basically no charts, no chart patterns. What's going on psychologically with you? Okay. What has your trading looked like? What have you been struggling with the most? If you don't know what it is psychologically, I didn't for a long time, I guess. You know, I didn't really know because I didn't know anything. Then we can talk about your trading just in general, and we'll probably come to some conclusions. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We'll actually start with, Mujeres. Here, I'll actually give you the microphone too, so people can hear. Yeah. Here, come up.
No.
Yeah.
I get electrocuted. Okay.
No, you don't. Don't worry.
Good morning. So mainly, I've really had a hard time before because I was over trading, doing 12, 15 trades in the morning, like crazy. I have really worked on that really hard. My max now might be 4 trades a day, which I'm still trying to make it two trades a day. But sometimes what I was wanting to, because I think sometimes, like when I really am trying to focus on gap and crap reversals. So in the morning when I see the gap, I get in, but maybe that really wasn't the gap. So I get stopped out and then I get back in.
You mean low? The low.
The low, yeah.
I know what you
The
mean.
low, yeah. So I get back in, and sometimes that is not the low. Like it just keeps on going down, and I need to, obviously, I guess there's other factors I need to take into consideration, like volume and whatnot. And I try to get all my ins and outs together, but I'm learning, so I mess up, and I'm just working on that part, because then I do 4 trades, and I'm really trying to stick to 2 trades. I promised you I was going to do 2 trades a day, and that's what I've been trying to focus. And I have my alarm at 11:30 that I get off the computer. Like I'm working so much with my discipline and my patience that I still mess up at. And it's just like, so that's mainly my struggle, that I need to, and I study, like, but like, I don't know. I just don't know how to perfect that.
No, I got you. So it's so we were talking about this yesterday. When you start dip buying, when you stop chasing strength, when you stop buying breakouts and doing all this dumb crap, there's a big learning curve. It's not immediate. You don't just, it's not magic. It can be, for some people, it can be actually magical. It can literally change their everything. Yeah, and it was for you at first. Remember? And that's the problem. At first, it is a huge perspective shift, and it's an amazing light bulb that goes off. But you've been watching strength for how many years have you been trading?
For at least 3.
3. You've been watching strength for 2.5 of that. Okay. You've been chasing breakouts for 2.5 of that, pretty much. Okay. So while you were trading those areas of the chart with big volume chasing, and you're used to that, that is like what you're used to, as you think that's what your trading psychology is, right? It just is that. It's impossible. Okay. It's not. It's going to take a little time, patience. When we're dip buying, the gap and crap reversal, especially, all of you are going to do this. You're going to buy the first dip, and then you're going to get cut out, and you're going to overtrade a little bit. Okay. I would obviously not suggest that, especially these days. The rule for me has been wait for lows to break. Whenever I see what I deem to be the low, I'm like, that might be the low. I want it to break first. I'll just wait for that to break and see what happens. So there's just that little bit of extra patience for me these days has been super helpful. The morning shakeouts have been long. They have been. They shake them out well below VWAP for a long time. 1, 2 hours, 3 hours, until they finally reverse. So that's been happening lately. So it's made the morning gap and crap reversals definitely more difficult. The strongest morning plays have been morning spikes. All right. So it's put me in this weird dynamic where, like, morning spikes have the same feel to me sometimes as buying breakouts, chasing strength and stuff like that. It feels like a chase, right? And we went over that. We went over morning spikes yesterday. We were kind of looking at the risk reward that's involved in them. You can still trade them, but for you, you need to just stay on the path. You're doing great, I think.
Well,
I do.
I've been greener, so
Yep.
so that it sort of makes me more positive of what I'm learning from you is panning out. And when you mentioned one time, like, no, it's gonna go back to that dip, like if I miss it and I've done my 2-3 trades, I'm just watching the market and I'm watching that one ticker, like, for the whole day, and it does come back to that bottom, that line that I had, and I was like,
every time.
so yeah,
Not every time, but
not
a
every
lot.
time. It might get close, but it's not. So I'm like, so just it adds to what you have said, like, oh, he's right, which obviously you're right.
Yep.
But because you're the teacher, and right, so it's just like complementing both things, like, okay, cool, so I can wait more longer, I can, because it is going to come down
It's gonna,
eventually.
exactly.
So
And that's the big point for me, for everyone. Like, all the randomness between low and high of day is just that. You don't know if it's going to hold. Risk rewards, best near lows no matter what, so that little bit of extra patience for the midday reversals has been big. But you're doing great. I've noticed you came to me as like a wreck. And I mean that in the nicest possible, crying and crying. Yeah, I mean, but you've been to, is this like your 4th or 5th boot camp now? I don't know. I've been seeing you a lot, and I've been noticing growth. And she works really hard, and all of that stuff goes together, So I'm proud of you. I think you've been doing great. When you have to jet, just let me know. You can GM. We're gonna go in around in a circle. We're just gonna do one-on-one. Yeah, we're putting you on the spot. You're all, come on now. You and your new shoes. Let's go.
Evil. So, from
my live disconnected. Huh? Let's see. Let me see if I can. Just left here.
yeah, he should. Yeah, he should do him. Here, you want me to- Oh. Hey, Roland, I'm gonna pass it to your.
Yeah.
Here you go.
That should be better, y'all.
I'm gonna pass it to him because he's.
Oh, that's fine. No, that's perfect. Yep.
There you go. What's up? Okay. You'll film me. Okay.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
I don't
What's
have
up,
to.
G?
Do I have to be super close to it, or?
Yeah, it's pretty.
All right. Okay. I would say the biggest thing I struggle in trading so far right now is getting to that second level of really pressing when it's time to press. Like, I feel like if you look at some of the best traders, if they had like a 20K month, it's not 5K first week, 5K, 5K, 5K. It's 2K one week, 13 the next when something was popping off, and then like 2, and then maybe a red week the last. But that's what I really need to focus on. I'm good at hitting the brake, but not good at stepping on the gas when it's time to step on the gas.
I gotcha.
And I feel like that's the second level of trading. Is
Yep.
that it's like when we see you like on ELOCs, like you had a huge month that's making your year. Like, so I feel like that's what I need to focus on the most. So
Yeah, I like it, bro.
Yeah.
We were chatting a bit yesterday about this too, and that is such a good problem to have. You know what I mean? It's such a good problem to have. Everyone should aspire to have that problem, right? I mean, I talk about people, so people get really upset when they have drawdowns after the back of a big winning streak. And I'm like, guess what? You had a big winning streak. You know how many people have never had a winning streak in the markets, ever? That is the cycle. Winning streak, give it all back. Because we don't have that recognition yet that the pattern, the setup, the market has gone, right? That's fine. That's totally fine. But for you now, we're at a place where, and this happens to me sometimes too, a pattern, a strategy comes into play. I'm trying to play it. I'm doing great, but size isn't there, right? Conviction, maybe not all the way there yet. By the time the conviction comes, setup gone, take a big loss because you size up, because of your results, and then the setup's gone. You know what I mean? So for me, the biggest part of that is that recognition. All right. First of all, we have to build a catalog of like strategies and setups in different markets, right? We have to have the same setups and be able to trade them differently too in different markets. So gap and crap reversal or something like that, I'll be playing it, but I mean, oftentimes I'm like, well, that one's pretty, the gap and crap reversal is easy to modify. With that, it's easy to modify because I'll just sell into my first target as opposed to target 2 or 3. That's what I do. In a bad market, take it to target 1. I'll still get 1 to 5 there. That's great. Okay. But for us, man, and this has been big for me throughout my career, you can't wait too long when something's hot to take advantage of it. We've seen it. I mean, TPST, SECO, you saw it. I mean, TPST went 25 to 10. SECO went 25 to 3. OPGN went 25 to 4-ish. And then 25 cents. And then every subsequent spike after that would go 100% and then drop really fast. So it's kind of that phenomenon. It's what we always talk about, the contrarian thing. When everyone knows something's working, it stops working. Always. It's just how it works. It sucks.
I feel like this year is worse than other years too.
Definitely.
It's a lot quicker. You have to
So quick.
be on the ball or you're gonna miss it.
So quick. So for me, the rule is if I see a setup one time go parabolic, I'm looking for that tomorrow or tonight immediately. I don't need days of seeing a pattern for me to try to take advantage of it if it's a pattern I know. For those of you who don't know all the patterns and stuff like that, that's fine, or setups. You don't need that many. And as you've seen, it's not so much just the individual price action pattern. It's the big setup. Like what's the macro setup? And then there's the setup within this setup. And then there's executing the trade, which is a totally different thing. We've been talking about it. But for me, that's the key. If you see your setup go parabolic one time, right? And as you've seen, it leads me to certain things on my scans. Like, yeah, it's the second I see one runner, say it's like a $3 biotech tomorrow, reverse split pump, right? I won't need to be convinced to go through my splits, find what splits are. I will not need any convincing, and I will pull the trigger on PRs and stuff. There are certain things that happen based off of all of this, okay? So for you, that's the biggest thing. If you see your setup once, smash it, because you don't know how long it's going to be there. You know what I mean? I told this to Jack and Dom back in the day, because they came, well, specifically Dom, but he came to learn listed plays instead of OTCs. Bye. And I told him that. I'm like, as long as when OTCs are in, smash them. Take them for all they're worth. And it's the same with any setup. You know, when anytime there's something predictable for us in the markets, we have to make our money then, because the rest of the time it's not predictable, right? But that's all. And then on the other side of that is the recognition when that setup is gone. They're kind of one and the same. Being able to ride like the first part of the momentum of a setup, right? Where everyone's like, wow, this is like awesome, or it's starting to work. Big squeezes generally is what it is. A big squeeze is what will set off any pattern for me, but that's the idea, man. So the front end of it, we have to start pressing buttons as soon as my recognition is that this pattern's here and it's strong. Based on everything else in process, I have to take advantage of it. Because as you guys have seen, day 2, it may work. Day 3, it may work, maybe less. Day 4, maybe work, maybe less. And then it's gone, you know? And I'm not saying individual patterns. I'm saying that the setups, the price ranges that we trade, all of that stuff, those things come and go. So like the bottom bounce stuff, right? The crazy 20 cent to 10 cent stuff to $10. I mean, that kind of stuff. Those, again, next time you see a TPST, just remember, you're going to have about a week of madness. You know, I did crappy that week. I didn't do crappy trading, but I didn't hit any of those, like the 20 cent to $10 ones, you know? So I was kind of butthurt about that. And we talked about it. I was too late. I played OBLN or OBLG, you know, a week and a half after TPST. Way too late. I should have been hitting them every single day after TPST till I took a loss, till the pattern went away. You know what I mean? So that's all, man. You're on a good path too, dude. You know what I mean? It's just that recognition. It's just the recognition in real time is the problem, you know? So what's that?
Yeah, I used to struggle with selling too soon, but that
Yep.
not too big of a problem.
Good.
I still like a little bit, but
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Sweet, bro. You got to take off too soon, huh?
yeah,
Cool.
it's a pleasure, man.
Oh, bro.
Hit me up, man. I'll see you at
Safe
meet up
travels.
or boot camp when you
What
go
are
to
you
East
doing
Coast,
now?
man.
Safe travels, bud.
See ya. See you all soon.
Sorry, y'all. We have a couple people departing. And then we'll get started again. Hey, brother. See you soon. Okay. All right. We're gonna continue this way.
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
Just introduce yourself.
so I'm Stacy Face in Discord, if anybody seen that. So, I guess the biggest thing I've been struggling with, honestly, is feeling like I needed to track everything. I spent the last like month and a half just trying to track everything I could potentially use, and it was just so much information. I spent an entire day and I wasn't able to catch up on my trades from like the last week, like an entire day of work. And so I kind of developed into this idea that, well, okay, what exactly would I be tracking that for specifically? And it was because I realized that I wanted to try new plays because I'm here in this environment and they're all new things. Though I was trading the gap and crap kind of before, I just didn't have all the specifics. And so that's kind of been my thing where it's like I'm just really not sure how to balance collecting enough data to understand myself in the trades and what I'm doing and what I should change and all of that, and also balance it with life and like being able to be a mom of 4 kids and a wife and all that. It's just too much. I have 4, yeah. Yeah, 16 to 10. Kind of wild. Yeah. 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 I'm only slightly older than you two. Only slightly. So it's kind of, I got started way young. But yeah, so it's my life has always just been, so getting into your room came from the fact that I knew I needed to make a shift because I'm 7 years in and I'm not profitable. I started, in the wrong places, wasn't able to figure out how any of it was working, like how to make it consistent at all. But I focused on risk to reward. And in the last 2 years, I have a $2,000 account and I've kept it at $2,000 for like 3 years now. And it's just like forever treading water, and I just never had anything that could get me ahead. And then these 10-cent bouncers, I hit that and I made $150 in one really tiny trade.
Yep.
Biggest size I've attempted to try, but I was like, I'm so afraid of this concept of like hitting things hard when I see them.
I got you. I know what you mean.
It's very terrifying with a small account.
Exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So those are like the 2 things that I'm trying to do is like put on the gas when I see something and something actually finally clicks.
Yep.
And then just knowing how to figure out what I'm doing right and wrong. So I don't know what to do entirely with that yet, but I think I'm going to try TraderView, and maybe that'll be enough information. I'm not even sure. So if anybody has any suggestions at all for me in that realm, it'd be great. Yeah. Do you feel like it covers enough info? Okay.
So you've been doing this a long time. You have very good knowledge of the markets, It is scary. Risk. So we're in a game where if you want to make a lot of money, you have to risk more. Just unfortunately, that is the case. That being said, you don't have to risk 1,000 to make 1,000, which you've already kind of seen. You don't have to risk 100 to make 100. You can risk 10 to make 100. You can risk 100 to make 1,000. Does that make sense? And I can risk 100 to make 1,000 10 times and lose all 10 in a row. And the one where it actually works, wipes out 10 losses. Does that make sense? Right? So that's a big deal. Okay. Problem is when you size up and you have a specifically kind of a smaller account. So, and that's always going to be kind of tough. Okay. Unless the only way, so if I have 2K in an account, guys, I'm using a lot of that cap. I'm almost every single position probably using a lot of that capital. I'm not saying you should necessarily. I am, because that's what I would do if I had to grow 2K. I would be very aggressive with it personally, if the markets were right for it. Okay. I mean, you saw the the small K account, the small challenge thing a lot. Like, I use a lot of that account of a 20K account when I have good conviction, because I can take positions with 10, 15 grand and still risk $100, right? So I wouldn't beat myself up too much about it. You know, you're just now starting to hit like some crazy gains and stuff like that. Okay. That is the beginning. You know, that some people never hit like 50, 70, 80, 100%, 200%, 300% trades ever. Okay. So I would take confidence in that, you know, that you finally are making moves in the right direction. But then you are at some point going to have to push yourself. You know, you've been doing this. You're not a noob. And everyone I've seen make it, for the most part, bar one or two traders who grind every day, just grind out like 500 a grand, 2 grand every day. Every other one that I've seen make it hit spurts where they go exponential in their accounts, right? There's a time where you have to push it, and where your experience and your knowledge should give you enough confidence to size up and try it. Okay. Granted, those are our biggest losses too, when they don't work. So I get it. And you don't have to go from 0 to 100, you know, you can, but it's kind of like we were talking about earlier. When the setup's there, you have to take the setup. So there's a small window where it really is, you have to put risk on. That is the problem. We can't grow exponentially trading really small forever.
It's the fact that the market pivots so quickly.
It does.
That has actually, for the first time, been really obvious to me lately.
Yep.
Where I'm like, oh, we just missed our 3-day window. You know, like, it was that quick.
No, I get you. I understand that. Yep. It's difficult. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It's not. But if you're finding tremendous risk reward opportunities all the time, you're going to build confidence, I promise. And you're going to hit a point where your account goes from, you know, 3 to 5 to 7. You're like, what the hell just happened? And then you're going to hit another point, hopefully, where it goes 7 to you're over PDT. You know, there's a lot of things I don't really recall, you know, ever stopping and being like, wow, like, until I was over 6 figures, pretty much. I was like, what the hell just happened in my life? Seriously. But that came from putting risk on in advantageous scenarios, sector momentum, my entire account when it was at like 5, 6K, my entire account again when it was at like 20 something, and I had to buy Bitcoin stocks, just bought them all. Okay. So granted, there's some luck there too. You know, when I look back, there was definitely some luck there, because my entries aren't what they are now, and my risk reward isn't what it is now. But I was still able to risk when it came to sector momentum, and that was really the big time for me. When you find a super advantageous situation, that's where you push it. I wanted to take you guys and play some blackjack last night, but he's only 20. They kept IDing him everywhere. Yeah. No, it's no, it's good, and you have great energy and dedication. So, and as long as you aren't beating me to my strategies, I won't kick you out of my room. As long as you keep your mouth shut, you don't get kicked out. No, I'm just kidding. It's good. But thanks for being here. You know, it's yeah, I think you're on a good trajectory. The problem is that there comes a time for us all where we have to risk if we want to grow. If not, we're just going to kind of stay in the same spot, right? Yeah, there you go. You're good to go. Soft plasma. No, it's good. Who's next? Let's go this way.
Okay, so this is my first boot camp, but I'm Ashley. In the Discord, I'm Ash. It's pretty simple. But I think the biggest problem for me, because I've been on a hiatus for quite some time due to like housing stuff, but I think back before all this happened, it was probably just patience in general. That's really what it is for me. Like taking the runners too early or on a dip, getting out when it reverses and you're just like, shit, you know? That's probably my biggest issue right now. Yeah. I don't know if there's any advice that anyone has for dealing with that, but I know everyone goes through it, so yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. It's the patience thing's something you're going to work on your whole career. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff just doesn't go away. You know, I fall prey to everything you fall prey to. I promise. Not everything, but most of it. I promise. And I have similar emotions to everyone else, which is why everything I do is built towards dealing with that mess in my mind. Okay, so patience-wise, you mean patience like to enter? Entries?
Even like I would be so I know the strategy's there, but then I wouldn't enter it and I would see it and I'm like, okay, I missed it.
I gotcha. That happens to me every day. Okay, all this stuff happens to me every day. So it's not anything that we'll be rid of. How long have you been trading? 4 to 5 years. Yeah, actually trading. Okay, 2 years or so. That's a good amount of time, and a good amount of time to be involved in the markets. You know. Do you buy strength or weakness?
I would say before the hiatus, knowing from watching your videos and stuff, I try to find the low, but I'd always not be able to find it. So that's the problem too. And then the breakout situation, I'd become definitely one of those that would want to be like, oh, I'm at the breakout. Should I buy it? You know? Yeah. So.
And again, the reversals off lows have been longer. They've taken longer. Like I've not for now. Next week, like Monday, we could get one that rips, and then all week we're trading in like the morning 15-minute reversal, this is super important. And it's a really good thing to understand is that all the strategies that I've come up with, oftentimes when they fail, what's up? Yeah, it did. Sorry, one sec, y'all. Sorry. Yeah, no. Shit in there. Come on now. Got it. Thank you.
You got a charger somewhere, please?
What's that?
Charger somewhere, please?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I have one. I have one. I just don't have an outlet that's close enough. It's just right up there. I got other batteries.
Still hear your audio.
Good. What's this to you?
Oh, oops.
Oh shit. Sorry, y'all. No.
We have more.
All right, we're gonna have to adjust or something. Hold up, my friends. Yeah, I got another one too. Hold on. I bet you they're all dead though. Sorry, everyone at home. Normally, I've got a videographer here running this for me, but it's not the case today. It's this way. Sorry. Come on now. See if that works. Pop it in. Oh, hold on. Hold on. See if that works now. We shall see. Yay, nay. Okay, 1 second, y'all at home. We gotta plug my camera in. 1 second. Okay.
Last chance.
Hmm?
Battery? Last chance.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'll make it work.
Here, hold on. I got it. Sweet. Sorry, rearranging real fast, y'all. I have the camera up in a second. Oh, that one's broken. Cute. Beautiful. Okay. What's that?
Go around moving the camera.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to. I don't know. It's we don't really need to. I mean, sorry everyone at home. Going in a second. All right. Okay. What's that? Good. What's that? You guys still hear us at home? If you're enjoying this, sorry about the technical difficulties. Please smash the like button. Smash it. Okay. No, because I have to keep plugged into the computer. That's kind of the issue that I'm having right now. Did that get unplugged or something? It's not plugged in. Okay, good. Thanks, bro. Thank you. All right, we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep it on down the line. All right. So patience-wise, just you need to just be patient with yourself right now. You know what I mean? Like you took a little hiatus, you're back in it. Markets have changed so much over the last couple years. Reversals, I think hopefully you've gotten kind of my take on how they've been working lately. You've had to have been more patient. And then it's made the bounces at times kind of slower and more choppy. So it's, you know, morning reversals, afternoon reversals have been hit or miss. But the beauty behind if you're doing it right is that you can still make money when they suck. You know what I mean? If you're getting good risk reward, you're being patient, you're setting your price targets, and you're just letting the trades work out, they're still bouncing to VWAP and high a day and pre-market highs, a lot of them. So for the next couple, let's just we'll just kind of pass. Let's see. Mitnick, did you didn't go, yeah? Okay, here, I'm just gonna come give you the mic, bro, so people can hear you.
Welcome everybody to the Wolf Trading Conference here in Las Vegas Live. Yeah, my name is Mitnick on Discord. And let's see here. All right, so I've been trading full-time for about a year and a half. And one of the kind of like difficulties I used to have is cutting my losses. And then with Roland, it kind of shifted, you know, I implemented that better where I just cut my losses. Because that's kind of a big thing, risk management. And I think most people struggle with cutting losses. That's kind of not a new thing. But now what I try to work on is not trading my P&L, but trading the charts, because I noticed that when I trade my P&L, I actually have more losses, like more losing trades than wins. But if I trade the charts, put those support lines, resistance, you know, lines, key lines, then it just works out better for me. And then one big thing that I do want to mention where Roland changed my perspective is those entries, because I was one of those guys when I would enter into the breakouts and be like a bag holder, right? And then eventually become like an investor in some company. Like, seriously. You know, it's like, just freaking cut it. But with those entries, kind of like Roland explained, you know, when you enter at those low levels and then basically sell into the breakouts, into the VWAP, into the high of day, whatever it is, it works so much better. But yeah, so for me, I'm trying to work on better cutting my risk levels. I mean, it doesn't work 100% of the time. You know, sometimes you do slip into that mindset where you kind of like, you know, not disciplined enough. So that's one big thing that I'm way better, but not always, not 100%, and not trading my P&L. So, all right, and smash that like button.
Oh, dude, thanks for being here. Is this your second boot camp?
Yes, sir.
Second one, right? Hold up. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, I got it. Bring a camera guy next time. All right. Volunteer? Yeah, if you want. You're more than welcome to, bro. We're just kind of we'll let him handle it. The only problem is it's connected with this link, so
Don't mess up the link.
yeah, the link will get it all jacked, bro. So what are you struggling with then? Because it sounds like some good stuff, but what are you struggling with? That's why you're here.
I guess what I want to improve on is being better at cutting my losses. And I guess what comes with that is having better entries and not trading my P&L.
So your P&Ls are on your screen still?
Yeah, I always like to look at it,
Yeah.
and then it kind of messes with my head because I'm like, oh, it's like I'm up like $50, $100, and I want to take it, but then like, what's the key levels, you know?
Right.
It's not
Right. The P&L trading is the worst thing. It's not good. Now, if you can do basic math, you know about how much you're up or down, right? I find looking at it, it doesn't affect me too much these days, but it will affect me. You know, it's not going to not affect me. It's definitely going to affect me. I try my best to not look at it. I don't look at my P&L throughout the day. I don't look at it till the day's over, personally. I don't really care what it is. And it goes back to that thing, like, I don't look at, when I'm in the trades, I'm not looking at it as the money in or out or money at all. I'm looking at it as how many shares do I have? How do I dish these shares? How do I sell them to make the most amount of money possible from each share? And that's where the game comes. So in the trade, I don't really want to see anything that's going to throw me off that. Does that make sense? I don't even want to see anything that's going to take me out of trading price action and sticking to my plan. I want to be so focused on executing my plan that nothing else comes into mind. Because the fact that I'm up $2,000 or $3,000 or down $1,000 or $2,000 is fucking meaningless. You know what I mean? As long as I'm sticking within my plan. So the plan's what's important. Anything that might take me away, including a P&L, you know, if I start thinking like that, or if I'm trying to size up and I start thinking about like the money that I could lose if this doesn't work, that's the first thing I think about every trade anyways, the money I'm going to lose, right? But I mean, when I'm trying to specifically size up, I know I'm going to be taking a bigger loss. And then I start kind of thinking about the loss as it's happening. You know, that's when I'll do some kind of funky things. Maybe I take the position off I'm not supposed to, you know, just because. But at the end of the day, it's sorry, one second. Kind of lost my train of thought there. It's just detrimental, man. Everyone I talk to, you know, if any wants, your needs. Sorry, I don't want to have my back to you guys. Just like staring at my. Just. Anything that takes me out of my plan and out of objectively trading price action, right? Anything. I don't care what the thought is. A lot of people I talk to, it's like they're family, you know, or they need money. That's one of the number ones. The need for money, you know, is a big deal. So, what's up? You good? Other than that, I mean, you've been doing good, dude. Big strides. You mentioned cutting, having some issues cutting at all? Okay, good. Because I remember last time it was that's one of those non-negotiables that you have to do, right? It's one of those non-negotiables. So nice, man. Nice. It's good to see you, dude. What's up, bro? Let's go. What's up, Panther?
Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Alex. It's Alex17 in the chat. I don't talk in the chat. I just read and listen to all the voices. And even though I'm a short seller, which I am a short seller, so I'm kind of against you guys, but it's still the same lessons. The psychology is still the same. And my biggest so ever since I started trading, my issues were completely opposite of other people's issues. I never was scared to cut losses. It was all different, the opposite. If I was trading my P&L, I would be probably more profitable. If I was just trading my P&L, I'll be more profitable right now. I had too much patience. I would hold through the whole move when I was longing. My sales would be after the top every time, because I would just hold for days. But that with shorting, that's not helping you, because not every stock just fades all day. At some point it stops, and just because the price action by itself, all the shorts cover means buy, so it's just gonna grind up. And I would just hold and just and just mess up with your mental, because you just watch the price action go against you slowly. So in the past week, I changed my mindset. I was just, let's just take the consistent gains, because like you said when you were talking to Jonas, you have to risk a lot to make a lot. But with OTCs, I would risk a little and make a lot. but that doesn't work with listed. Like you just have to take the consistent like I always traded with like hours in my mind. Like I don't care about the dollar because it's very like different for everyone. But the hour is the same. If you risk $10 and you make 50, it's as good as if you risk 1,000 and make that 5,000. Same thing. So I always like aim to make like 4 or 5 hour. And if you make that consistent with like over 40% win rate, you're insanely profitable. When I'm up 4 hour, I wait more because I try to trade the chart, and sometimes it helps, yes, but a lot of times with shorting, it's just gonna go against you. So like this week, I had a like good trade, so now I just take my profits into the predictable move, and that's it. Like I just like there was one, I remember that fade when it went like $1 or more, and I was like, okay, that's fine, because if you take your profits, then you won't feel as mad as if you were in unrealized and it went against you. That's the worst feeling when you like lose the unrealized. And also one of the like thinking, I was like, if I'm up 4 hour, I'm risking losing that 4 hour to make additional 2 hour. It's negative risk reward, so it just doesn't make sense. You just have to take the profits, and that's like just do that over that's what also Jack told me at the last even conference. He was like, just take the consistent profits over and over again and just size up. I didn't listen to him. Well, now I will. So yeah, that's just what I'm gonna focus on doing for the rest of the year and the whole next year. And just like Jonas said, when the period comes, when there's like the best place, because I clearly know when it's like my A plus setup, then I would just risk like more than 1 hour. Let's say like 2-3 hour on the trade, and then you make like 4 hour. That's 8 or 12. You have to risk more to make more. That's like one of the main like shifts in my mindset. And the other one is I think you were saying about like hesitation to enter. There, you have to just don't care about the outcome, because like Mark Douglas says, it's over the 1,000 trades, 100 trades, not just one trade. So if you take a trade like in poker, if you have a good hand, you have to go in. You can't just like fold. And if there's a good flop, then you just have to go all in. Even if the other person might have like a crazy thing, that's just unfortunate. You have to just play the odds. That's how all the professional players play, both in trading and in poker. You just have to take the odds, and over the long run, even after all the outlier moves like TPSG and stuff, you're still gonna get profitable in the end. As long as you take your profits and you cut. That's it. That's the main thing. So the lessons from like the past few months is take consistent gains the past few days, and just have no fear when you enter. Just accept if it goes against you. That's it. Just accept the loss and move on. Because there's trades every day, maybe like every other day, but there's enough opportunity even in this market. Because I always like when I was trading OGs, I was always like saying how bad the market is, but it's not bad at all. Like compared to like 2018 when I was not trading, but I know that it was terrible. So now it's way better than it was 18. It's just 2020, 2021 just brought like the expectations are too high, so everyone thinks like it has to be at least similar like in 2021 to make money, but it's not. It's right now you can make a lot. There's so many opportunities. So yeah, it's been a few like I've been trading for 2.5 years, but in the past 2 months I learned probably more than before. So this past few months been a huge learning, and I don't really have any issues. I just because it's all like I'm learning by myself, kind of not by myself, about myself. Because every trader is different, but this things has been like huge learning curve. So yeah.
So there's so he's a short seller, right? The most I got from that is like what you don't understand. So these reversals, right? Because so I think the longer, and he may be able to speak to this if he's been short during these, but you have shorts who are trying to maximize their gains. And if a stock's up 300% on the day, everyone's going to short it. And and if it goes from like 25 cents to $3, they're trying to get it back sub 1. Okay. These people are going to try to smash the thing all the way back down. Okay. And that's why we see some like TPST, TPST kind of just halted out the gate, but what did that gap up like 300% or for? Yeah. And whatever it was, but the reversals, we were talking about kind of the choppy nature. I think it's been kind of like that. It takes a while for them to reverse. They fade all morning. And when the bottom gets set in, it doesn't just spike. Okay. That's the whole point. It's not just a spike. It's a grind. It's going to be a grind back up to VWAP. If it goes there, there's going to be new shorts at VWAP, by the way. You know, there's going to be new shorts there. There's going to be new shorts at the previous highs now. Okay. But that also creates the squeeze too. If those, if the VWAP shorts get squeezed, okay, and they cover, it could create that chain reaction that gets you back towards highs, where it'll probably get slapped and go back to lows. Okay. Probably. But even then, the midday reversals, they can be choppy. And I think it's one of those things where it keeps a lot of shorts in even, you know, where it's like, it's not a big spike. So they see a little bit of a perk and it's like, well, I'm just going to hold it. It ain't strong. And then it grinds. It's exactly what he was saying. It's a grind. So I've been kind of watching, the morning reversals were a little bit more concise. You know, I'd have 1 minute candles, 15 or 20 of them. 30 of them, and I'm working that range, okay? Risk reward, low to high, that's it. VWAP, high day, pre-market highs, I try to get it at low day and sell into those levels. But I haven't been hit the midday reversals. It's, first of all, you got to be there for the reversal. Second of all, you have to watch the morning action on your hands. And I think this is what you were maybe struggling with a little bit. And anyone who starts dip buying, but in this market right now, if you're buying the first leg down, second leg down, third leg down's okay. But you really want to be patient these days. You know, I've been not dip buying stocks unless it's a day 2 or something like that. I've been not really buying stocks in the morning early like I used to, right? For now, it'll come back, but it's good, dude. You know, these young cats and I remember speaking to you about the OTC trading and stuff, and some people cut loss as well. Some people understand the power of it and don't have issues being wrong. You know what I mean? They don't have issues losing. Most people who don't cut have issues losing and being wrong. You know? That smile. And that's good trading. You know, that's good trading. I mean, you don't want to lose 10 in a row, but good risk reward, man. That's the beauty of it. You cannot lose with good risk reward over time if you're disciplined and you're not just buying the dumbest shit every day, you know, and you have no clue what you're doing. It's hard to lose if you do the math right. That's the whole thing. There's so many things. There's just so many parts. And if any one part of this process breaks down for us, it can get tricky, but it's good, dude. Especially making the transition from OTCs, which is, you know, OTCs are dead and gone, guys. Unfortunately, it's they're not tradable. There's not enough volume. They don't run. They're regulated. You know, it's not. There's more regulations. They don't run anymore, right? Stocks used to do BKs, like go bankrupt and drop down to OTC, and then spike like 1,000% sometimes, like 100%, 200, 300%. Now, anything that gets delisted and goes to OTC land goes to sub 1 penny almost immediately. A lot of them. If it's like a penny stock, they're going to go under a penny. They're going to be 0.00 something in like a month or two, okay? So a lot of people have had to make this transition or try to from OTCs to NASDAQs. And it is a different planet. It's almost a different instrument. It's almost like not the same instrument, you know? It's almost like as different as trading options and stocks. They're like so many differences. So, but at the end of the day, if you can realize that there are so many advantageous scenarios, which we kept talking about, you know, we spoke about this yesterday. If you understand the players involved, the cycles of these penny stocks, they are predictable for certain periods of time, right? Well, they're predictable all the time. They're dumping. They go like this. If you look at their charts, and they do a reverse split, and then they go down, little spike, and then they go down, a little spike, and they go down, and they go back in history, and the whole chart goes up to the left. It's not like, you know what I'm trying to say. You go back in history, and the whole chart goes up this way, right? It comes down, from upper left to bottom right. That is what we trade. Yeah, exactly. It's 10K or $1 million a share at the very top of that chain, because they've done split, pump, split, pump, split, pump, right? But because of that, there are, like I said, there are whys in penny stock land where you don't get them everywhere else. So if you want a good why with big caps, earnings and shit. You gotta compete with a bunch of smart people who have spent their entire lives valuating companies, doing valuations on companies, right? Earnings projections. They've got whole, floors of traders who do this shit. Okay. So that's pretty much that. That's who I'm competing with over there. Here, it's not that. It's just a bunch of idiots down here, man. Chasing strength, buying breakouts. Okay. Understand that dynamic. That's what everyone buys for the most part. I love small cap, man. I love the nature of it, of who I get to trade with and against. Even the algorithms, I love them now. Now that I've figured out how they work a lot better and how to fit my trading in with them, I like it. Long may they fuck retail traders, okay? Seriously, I love it. I love the scammy nature of small cap. I think it's the greatest. Like I said, all these whys come from rules within the NASDAQ and stuff like that. They come from the dilution and this penny stock cycle, which is just the best thing ever in my opinion, and should be illegal, both. You know what I mean? It should be really, really illegal for them to do what they do to us, as not us, but retail, to put out PRs about like their biotech drug. And then they know that what that does, it brings volume, which brings investors. It's not just day traders. You know what I mean? It's not that black and white. There are idiots looking to invest in these things too. There are long-term biotech investors. It's not just idiots. But that being said, you understand that dynamic, and all I need to do is figure out where all you guys buy, which is not hard. Where did I buy in the beginning? Through high day, pre-market highs, breakouts. Understand the macro, right? You got to put the whole puzzle together. If you can put the puzzle together and see it from very, very, very clearly. I don't mean like have an idea that this is what's happening. Very clearly understand the structure of the markets, the players you're trading with and against. And then what moment in time is this stock that you're trying to trade in the life cycle of a penny stock? Reverse split, pump, dump, dilute, reverse split, pump, dump, dilute, cash in the pocket, reverse split, pump, dilute, cash in the pocket. That's how they stay alive. That's how they pay their employees and shit. Us. We're the ones paying. We're the ones, we're the ones who get their stock price up high enough to where they can do an offering lower. Okay? That's us. So don't be that person. But all of that leads to some really cool areas of conviction that I don't get anywhere else ever, really. So, and then you have people like him who's short, and he cuts really well, but other people, not so much, These are the guys that create the moves, the big moves, the short sellers. If there are no shorts involved, there's no squeeze, right? There's no squeeze. And if you're not shorted, you don't know what squeezing is, or you don't really know what it feels like. Have you ever been squeezed? I mean, squeeze like an uncontrollable lost idea. Smaller size or something. Okay. So you haven't felt a real squeeze yet. What I mean by that is you haven't blown any accounts up. You don't have to. I love it, man. No, I got you. I come to the market. I mean, it's you versus you at the end of the day, right? I mean, it's just you and your thoughts, and that's how it is for me too. If I already know the players and I know everything that's going on, I have a good understanding of the macro, then am I going to be making mistakes today or not? Am I going to do what I know I'm supposed to do today or not? Am I going to chase after I miss an entry, or am I going to do what I'm supposed to do and not chase that entry? Am I going to cut when it hits my risk, or am I going to not? Those are choices that people make. And every time the answer is wrong. So every time you decide I'm not going to cut it, every time you decide I'm just going to chase this a little bit, You're diminishing your risk reward. You're diminishing your discipline. You're actually creating bad habits. You're going in the exact wrong direction, right? So, yeah. What's up? We got, I think you're new, right? Ish. You got new trading problems.
Yeah, exactly. My name is Ray. I'm pretty much. Oh, wait. Can you hear me? Made every mistake a newbie could make, because I think just looking back, well, I've been trading mostly full time now for a year. Just looking back is because I think it's my personality. I'm just like, just I'm driven. I like to work hard and stuff like that. But my biggest problem is, like I don't like to be wrong. So I overhold winning and losing trades. Not cutting, not discipline. Everything. Name with the books. Revenge trading. I've done it.
Yeah.
And the market just pretty much humbles you. It doesn't matter how strong-headed of a person you are, the market will soften you up. So, but I've accepted that, I need to be a student first, learn and not rush the process. And I think that was because I'm always so used. I'm like you too. I grew up in a sports background. Track and field.
Yep.
And I don't know if you struggle in the beginning. Just losing doesn't feel good.
No.
It just the way you're just wired.
Yep.
And being an athlete, if you lose, you gonna go back to the drawing board, work your butt off, and you will get results. But in trading, being more patient, it did never really go hand in hand with that with me. So I would push in the wrong places, the wrong time, and then it leads to just blowing up, a couple accounts. So
Sweet, man. Well, thanks for coming out. Yeah, we were talking yesterday. The good thing is you have to go through this. You do. I mean, you know what revenge trading is, put it that way. You know what I mean? If you don't go through this stuff early, there are a lot of people who in like 2020, 2021 made so much money early on, like made not so much money, but noobs were able to YOLO stocks and make money. Okay. They can't do that. If you're new and you tried anything you tried in 2020, you're toast today. Okay. That's why all the COVID traders are gone. They are. Not all of them. Some of you guys are COVID traders. Yeah. Boom. A lot of my students even now are leftover COVID traders who started during COVID and then never got, and then after that, so they got bit by the bug. They love trading. Maybe they made some money in 2020. I got a lot of students who made like 100, 200K in 2020. Some who gave it all back in 2021, 2022. Some who held on pretty decently, but haven't made money since then, So a mixture of people. But it's one of those things. So I'm working with a lot of newer traders now, finally. And it's interesting because this is one of those things where you just have to walk through the flame. You still do. I'll tell you a million times not to do something. It doesn't matter. You gotta do it. You gotta feel the pain a little bit to understand. Okay. But it's good. But one of the big things, guys, once you realize what revenge trading is, and for me psychologically, it's what? It's revenge trading. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. Greed, holding too long. Those are pretty much the main emotions are those two. I'm either holding too long or I'm either in fear or greed. That really is what it is. I'm either in that, and I do my best to try to not be that. Okay. But it's impossible. It's impossible to not feel fear or greed. It's just the emotions diminish over time as you realize that it's just not that important. Each trade, okay, is not that fucking important. Everyone, like, for you, it's not that important. Size up once in a while. Refund your account if you screw up, okay? It's a small account, right? Plasma. I'm kidding. But I don't know. I think everyone gets so hung up being right. Just like, dude, that was my main thing when I got in the markets too, was I'm tremendously competitive. I'm used to hard work equals results. That's what I'm used to. And the problem with this is like hard work does not yield results in the markets necessarily. I think you stick to it long enough. Yes, maybe. But a big part of that to me is like, what are you learning? What have you been learning? What have you been trading? Have you been learning one strategy or two strategies for 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, and it doesn't work? Well, you were learning the wrong strategy probably, or that strategy just is useless, you know? So I have kind of mixed view. I have more, especially working with students recently, I have more faith that it's not just hard. Trading's not just hard, and that's the reason everyone says that. They're like, oh, it's really hard. I think there's more to it than that. I think certain patterns are really hard, almost impossible to trade, like breakouts, for example. When breakouts are good, they're good, okay? Don't get me wrong. But I mean, how many good breakouts did you guys see this year in small cap land? 5? Maybe. Seriously, we could probably go back and find more. But that I recall being big movers on the breakout is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense? We've not seen one where like, wow, that was the craziest breakout ever, right? No, we haven't. Anyways. Yeah, it's, if you're with a mentor and you've been with one for a really long time and you literally have no progress, you got to find a new mentor. That's literally it for me, you know? I was fortunate. Gratani didn't personally mentor me, but like I pretty much watched his guide every day and I would listen to him every day. And so I, you know, was kind of, and I did have contact with him, but the guide that I watched over and over again, that's luckily I came across that to change my perspective so much, man, to learn what short sellers are doing. And at that time, the best short seller that, you know, that was kind of public, in our realm at least. So, yeah, I think, I've been watching so much shit lately on YouTube and social on trading again. Successful traders aren't on YouTube watching YouTube, guys. Successful traders are not on YouTube for tips, okay? Successful traders are not. The only people on YouTube watching trading videos are people who are struggling right now, even the people who are streaming right now. I wasn't on YouTube for a really long time, you know, until recently because of that, because I didn't need to watch YouTube and I didn't really want to be on YouTube. I didn't want to be a YouTuber. I wanted to just be a trader. Everyone else is just being a YouTuber that trades, and I wanted to just be a trader, okay? Now I'm on YouTube to try to get people out of this buying strength bullshit that everyone teaches and everyone does, and don't buy under VWAPs, the most asinine damn thing I've ever heard in my life. You know, VWAP holds are garbage. There's so much garbage out there in terms of I'm selling at all these areas that people talk about. And yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic, but small cap is great right now. Okay. It's great. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. It's kind of schizophrenic too. It's really hit or miss at times. But we get about a week or 2 weeks of tremendous action followed by a week or 2 weeks of lull. That's been kind of the pattern all year. For the newer traders, man, you got to let go of being right and wrong, right? It ain't that. It's risk reward. That's what it is. It isn't the next trade. It's my next 1,000 trades. I need to put a process in to effect that is going to make me profitable over the next 500, 700, 1,000 trades, right? So yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Don't get too hung up on one trade, you guys. Everyone does. Every trade. And I talk to people all the time. I do one-on-ones with people, and you know, they put so much in each trade of their hopes and dreams and like all this stuff. It's just a trade. It's just one. What I need to do is I make sure I get good risk reward across the trades, and then I maintain the integrity of the risk reward by executing my plan. So that means sell into the levels I want to sell into, cut where I need to cut. That maintains the risk reward over the next 1,000 trades, right? If I'm getting 1 to 5 to my singles, and then a lot of trades I'm getting 1 to 10 to high a day or pre-market highs, I can take a lot of losses as long as I'm cutting them where I'm supposed to. That cut is a win. So if I were you, this is what I do now. It took me kind of a long time to, it took me a long ass time to understand this, bro. A good cut is a fucking great trade. Dude, I got the goosebumps right now, big time. Or no trade's a great trade. But specifically in the trade, when it comes to being right or wrong at the time, I don't fucking care. I just stick to my plan. Where was I supposed to cut? Just cut it there. Because you know, all right, I did my job today. It's a good trade. If you can get that through your head that when you're cutting where you're supposed to, if you have good risk reward and you're doing the right things, it's a good trade. All right. That being so we were talking about this yesterday. I can have winning trades that I deem to be bad trades. A winning trade can be a bad trade. Losing trades can be good trades. Does that make sense? You know, we had some cat on Friday talk about he was trading one of those stocks that gapped up 200, 300%, right? And he tried the first dip. He got stopped out. He averaged down. It spiked back up to where he was supposed to cut prior. He was supposed to cut there. So he averaged down, and then he sold it when it went back to where he was going to cut and made money, right? And he said, I will take it in chat. And I said, absolutely don't take that. You know, I jumped on him. I'm like, do not take that. You just did the worst fucking thing you could possibly do as a trader long on a stock like that, you know? And if you look back at the end of the day, had he held, he would have added, and had he held, it went sub 1, right? I forget what ticker it was, but it gapped up from 50 cents to 2 or something like that, or 150 or 175, right? So in other words, it's and we were talking about this, it's like sports too, but for soccer, specifically soccer for me, I could have great games, play like shit, or I'm sorry, we could win, I play like shit, or did certain things wrong, and I'd be tough on myself. But we could lose, I could have a great game and be proud of myself. You know what I mean? It's not about winning or losing here. It's about just executing my plan. And when I'm wrong, I cut. It's going to lead me to the next one, you know? And if I cut, I'm going to win eventually. As long as I'm keeping my risk where it needs to be, I will move forward no matter what. I will make money in the markets over time. Not today. I could lose today. But that cut leads to tomorrow, leads to the next one, leads to the next one, to the next 1,000 trades, right? You need to put habits in place, systems in place, processes in place that allow us to thrive, man, you know, and not be so confused and not be so fucked up in our heads. But you already are coming to these conclusions. You know what I mean? You already came to the conclusion, it sounds like, that you realize, wow, if I cut, it's a good trade. That's what you're supposed to do. If we don't get there, you have no foundation to trade upon. So whenever I have someone who has some issues cutting losses or something like that, or being right and wrong, that's the first thing we got to dispel, right? But welcome, bro. You know, it's a great time to be learning how to trade. I think the markets are going to be very fruitful for a while. And I don't mean the overall markets. I'm talking about small cap. We have penny stocks. We have $1, $2 stocks, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. So, you know, I say long may the markets pull and give us more penny stocks. Give us more small cap stocks. Okay. They're predictable. They got a split. We already know. We've got 600 stocks under $1 right now. 600 listed stocks under $1. That's crazy. Think about how many tickers that is. Think about how many letters that is. What's 600 times 4? A lot. 2,400? 24,000? 600 times 4? Yeah. Yeah. 600 times, yeah, sorry. But, that's the idea. Let's keep on moving though, you know? Just understand that the athlete thing, what I use from it is the work ethic, bro. The understanding that, and just because putting extra work does not necessarily equate to making money, doesn't mean you don't put in the extra work to get better. You still have to do that. Anytime my trading struggles right now, the answer is get to work for me. Okay? Work harder, like dig into the data, dig into what I'm doing, dig into my losses, see why, you know? So that's that. Let's continue on. Would you like?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Jasmine. I've started trading during COVID. Actually, my husband, Ovi, who's behind the camera right now, he introduced me to trading. I started learning penny stocks, small caps, and I'm approaching 2 years now since I switched over to options. I love options in the 0 day to expiration contracts that have been around lately, and I've been trying to learn that. What I've been struggling with the most is me. I'm getting in the way of myself. I'm not trusting my own trading plan. I'm not trusting my own levels. I'm hesitating. I'm like watching it go where I want to enter and stuff, and I'm just watching it go without me throughout the rest of the day when I miss it a lot of the times. And I'm seeing like great big plays go on, and I'm just like, why am I not taking a stab? You know, like, why do I keep letting like my perfectionist side, like, and my fear hold me back when I have been doing this since like COVID era, and I know what I need to do, and I know like all the education and stuff. So it's just like, just basically me versus me, like the self-doubt, like battling that daily. Like, do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, I mean, we all. It happens to me too. You know what I mean? It happens to me. Specifically, it happened to me coming out of 2022, where I had gone on a 6 months of the worst trading that I've had since 2016. Okay. The worst 6 months of my trading since I was a noob, you know? So bad at one point, I'm like, you know, and I don't know. I was like, and I'm teaching. So it was a tough period of time. It was a really tough period of time. Super depressed. It was bad. Okay. Because, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that period of time. But the biggest thing for me is I lost my confidence. Okay. And some people don't even have confidence at all. So we need conviction and confidence to press buttons. Okay. But we can't build that confidence without pressing buttons. Does that make sense? Yeah. You know, a lot of times people need too much of a that perfectionism thing that I heard you mention can really work against you in trading. You know, trying to get it down to the perfect, everything needs to line up perfectly, and trading's not perfect. Almost none of the trades I take are just perfect setup, and like once in a while it hits me in the gut. I'm like, wow, that's nice, you know. But sometimes when it's too perfect these days, especially with the listed plays we trade, I'm like, I'll start to kind of doubt it and stuff like that. Here's the main thing for me: the biggest fix for missing trades, if I'm missing trades, okay? Because it sounds like you're seeing entries, you know what you're looking for, and then you let fear get the best of you, and you just don't do anything, and then it goes without you, and you're like, damn, you know. And then that for me, if I get into that cycle, that will lead me to taking other weird trades.
That happens to me because I'll miss that morning play, and then I'll chase something later.
Yep.
Because I'm so fixated on missing that 200.
Totally.
Uh-huh. Then I chase something else, and it's like not even a good entry and stuff at that point because I use so much mental capacity with that first idea, and I'm so like fixated on like
Right.
moving without me that I use so much energy.
Mm-hmm.
On that one, and then when I go to enter the next trade, I'm not even like sticking to my
Totally.
trade. I know I'm chasing like a rubbish trade.
Right.
Basically, and then I beat myself up for that. For missing the first one.
Yep.
And then also laying on another layer of
Oh, I know what it is. Yep. We sit and look at charts and we miss plays long enough, we're going to find we'll find something to trade. We always find something. Those 0 day expirations are wild. They're like penny stocks, kind of wild. I've been kind of dabbling, and I've been paper trading them for about 2 weeks now. I haven't found any semblance of anything that's made actual sense to me yet, but we'll get there. My biggest thing is size down and press the buttons. Size down, okay? if I'm not confident and if I'm missing plays, and you only know you're missing plays because, and a missed play means I had an idea of an entry, I had risk, I had my reward, I planned out the trade in my head, the price action all did that, it went to the levels, I saw it, it was there, I didn't press any buttons. And next thing I know, it's gone, right? Back in the day, as I got better at trading, now when that happens, I don't act upon it. I just let it go without me, okay? And I will find the next one, okay? But if I find myself today, I missed a play of that nature. I miss plays every day, right? But of the nature that I planned the trade, I didn't take the trade, and I do it tomorrow, shit, you know, again, well, the next day, I need to size down and press buttons if that setup occurs. Does that make sense? Size down to something minuscule, and then you'll realize, God, that didn't hurt at all being wrong or right. Could have made more. I was right. When I'm right on small size, it gives me confidence. Does that make sense? Yeah. It'll give you confidence. Like, it's not a lot of money. It may not be anything significant. Who cares? It is real trading. It's proof to yourself that you took an entry. The trade manifested in your direction. You executed your plan. That gives you confidence. You know what I mean? Cutting a loss where I'm supposed to cut, that gives me fucking confidence, man. Makes me happy. That's why I love cutting my losses, man. When it's time to cut, I know that, guess what? It's time to do my job right now. The rest of it, you know, once I've taken the position, until we're buying or selling again, we're not really working. You know what I mean? We're not cashing the paycheck till we're selling. And that's there's so much power behind that. But what happens with me, usually two in a row if I get to, and I have little kind of flags that go off in my trading now over time with this thing of trying to adapt, trying to extend my gains, but also, you know, hit the gas when I need to or slam on the brake pedal when I need to, all of that good stuff. That's fine. Usually what happens to me is I'll go from heavy trading and then momentum will shift and I'll kind of sit on my hands for a while. That to me, there comes a point where I'm not supposed to be sitting on my hands anymore. I've been safe enough for the week or for the day or 2 days or whatever that time may be. But there comes a point where I will start to miss plays by sitting on my hands. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like I was doing the right thing by sitting on my hands. The markets are telling me that, but now there's runners again and I'm missing plays. When that's the case, the mantra for me and trading for me, psychology is just a series of mantras, really, at the end of the day. One or two things at a time. You can't, how are you going to fix everything? We can't. In any aspect of life, you can't fix everything at once. So for me, it's always, what's the most glaring issue? What's losing me the most money? What's causing me the most emotional distress today? And let's deal with those kind of things, right? So for the size, that mantra is size down, press buttons. Size down. And when I say size down, I'm talking about the smallest risk you could ever imagine. You know? One contract, like whatever, right? And that to me is where it's at. You know, I find every time I do that, because you'll dip your toes in like that and it will you'll give you more feedback than if you're not trading. Do you know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, all I need to do is see a trade manifest. It gives me more confidence. And then tomorrow, same setup. I've gone from having your issue right now, 2022. I said, and we did this during a trader therapy, just like this. Okay. We did a trader therapy just like this. And I confessed, I've been struggling so much with my trading, guys. Like the markets have sucked all year. This is last year. This is last year, pretty much. Okay. Literally 1 year ago today, I was like in the worst point of my trading since 2000, since I was a noob. Okay. And it's like, yo, I don't even, you know, I lost the ability to trade small size at all. You know, I lost the ability to remember, hey, I don't have to only make $1,000 a trade. I can make $100. I can make $200 a trade. That's a good amount of money, right? You forget that. Put $500 here. That's a good amount of money. But for the life of me, for the first half of 2022, I couldn't accept $500 gains. After the year prior to that, it was 10-figure days every day. Not 10 figures. That'd be cool. Like 4 or 5-figure days every single day, right? So that was a tough adjustment. But when I say size down, for me, that meant going from risking 500, 1,000, 2,000 on a trade to risking like $50, $100 to make 2 or 3, $400, like very, very small amounts. And then I found that gave me confidence. And within a couple days, I was back up to full size. The markets have shifted a little bit, but I was like, yeah, I was just like, it just built confidence. I don't know how to explain it. And it coincided with if you go back to October and the markets, okay, go back to SPY. Those of you at home, by the way, go back to SPY, the Qs right now last year, okay? Sometimes markets suck and there's nothing you can do about it. That was the biggest lesson of 2022 for me. 2 lessons. I needed to size way down way earlier. This is a tool I use all the time now. Okay. I go from big size to not trading at all. And then that's the cycle for me. Big size, take a bigger loss because and then I think maybe it's done. And I sit on my hands for that pattern until I see it again. Usually I'll see the pattern a couple times and I have to coax myself at times to but once you go through the cycle of sizing down, protect yourself, slam on the brakes. And then when market conditions and when your patterns and all that stuff become favorable again, slam on the gas. Press on the accelerator, exponentially grow during those times, preserve your capital during the rest of the time. That's literally the cycle that works, okay? But for me, it is that size down and press buttons. It works really well, okay? Because you got to build the confidence. Yeah.
So is the reason that you don't take the position because you think that it's a bad entry or it's a bad setup or because you're just scared to lose? Yes, this is exactly what I had. I missed a lot of trades. When I look at the level 2, I'm like, this is the entry. I have my mouse at the button, I just don't click. And one of my friends told me, just don't care about the outcome because the trade, this is it. If you take it, you're gonna lose. Okay, but I would rather take a good trade and lose than not take it and then see it work. That's the worst feeling. When you enter and it works exactly like you knew it was gonna work, you're like, why am I not in right now? And then the worst thing happens, like as a short sell, I then short the backside. And when you short the backside, you cannot risk the right risk because it's gonna be stupid risk reward. And then I take the cut and I'm like, so did I just doubt myself and it was a good entry, but I didn't care about losing when it was a bad entry? This makes no sense. Like I'm just like ready to take the loss on the backside with a stupid entry while I was scared to take a good entry. So every time that happens, and then I lose a lot on the backside, and then it works because every pattern is not just gonna go all the way down. It's gonna have a bounce and go down. But since I cannot risk the previous, the correct level, I'm gonna just chop myself up and then take like a 2-3 losses, and then it's gonna work just like I knew it was gonna work. That happened so many times. And then this week, when I was at the sex conference, there was a signal. I just shorted. I didn't even think. And both of them happened to work. But even if they didn't work, I don't care because that's my playbook. I just play whatever I know I'm gonna play. So that's literally happened like this week. Like last week I had those moments. Yeah. So when you were saying, it's exactly like what I've been going through, and it's just all like mindset. Just have to accept the loss if it comes, and
I've been
yeah.
trying to tell myself too, every day with my husband. I try to tell myself, okay, I'm always like, if I take the trade, it's either a small loss, break even, or the gain that I love, that I'm so happy for. So that's it. I just really have to accept and detach from the outcome. That's just it, Yeah, like what you were saying, it's your 1,000 trades, not that one trade. That's also another thing I have to focus on because sometimes I get so fixated on the intraday trades, and I have to remember that, hey, it's not just about today, it's about the next, whatever days, unlimited days after, so thank you so much.
Again, a lot of the shit we deal with is because we get so hung up in the moment on things. We take everything way too seriously. The only thing I need to take really, really seriously is cutting my losses, guys. That's the one. If I can just literally control my downside, that's the one place. That is the one thing that I need to do without questioning it at all. Okay. Am I perfect? Nah, definitely not. You know, y'all saw me with like V-Ray Q, hold a bag and I mean, my plan was to average down to almost 0, and I did. So I technically stuck to my plan, I guess, whatever. But I mean those like big uncontrollable losses where it was not in the plan, and then you're just in a trade that's out of control. So 100%. That is the game. The beauty, listen, right downstairs, we could go gamble right now, right? We were doing that yesterday. We could go play some blackjack. We could go play roulette or whatever. All those games, we're going to give them, if I want to make 25, I got to give them $25. It's 1 of 1. And not only that, probabilities are not even on my side anyways. So it's a losing game no matter what. The house always wins for the most part. That's the whole point of that. The point of trading to me is that I can risk a penny to make $1 a share if I want. Okay? I can get $100 on my trade if I want. You know what I mean? I can also risk $1,000 on a trade to make 10 or to make 5 or make 4. And I could cut it when I'm down $200. That's the other thing. You know, it'd be like, it's kind of like insurance when the dealer in blackjack pulls an ace. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So you do kind of have an out there, but it's way more powerful in trading because it's at any point, anytime I feel something wrong or something tells me I'm wrong or whatever, you can mitigate your trade. You can mitigate risk all the time. The second I sell and I'm in the green and I take some shares off, I've mitigated risk. If I'm wrong, there are times if I have too much size where I'll take shares off and mitigate risk that way, even if I'm green on a trade. Does that make sense? But it hasn't broken my risk, but I feel kind of some sort of way where I'm not comfortable sitting around very much longer with that kind of size. I don't have to. Right then and there, I can size down and mitigate risk. Okay? So when I'm trading and we have our price targets, I have my first price target, second price target, third price target. It's all about mitigating risk. The first sell gets me to break even, hopefully on the trade, or turns it into a green trade no matter what, right? So a lot of the trading for me also comes down to that. Let's put ourselves in really advantageous positions throughout our trading, okay? And if you combine that with good risk reward, cut losses quickly, size down, press buttons, have the right perspective. When stuff's hot, slam on the gas, you know, press the gas. When things slow down, slam on the brake pedals. That's the other thing. I mean, I can be in the midst of a winning streak and I have the power to not trade tomorrow if I want. I can literally, it's up to you. It's such a beautiful thing. And then you realize, God, you guys, if you're losing money, it's because you're pressing the buttons in the wrong places. You're pressing the wrong buttons in the wrong places. This is for you, by the way, guys. There you go. There you go. Size down, press buttons. Yes. So every psychological malady that I've had as a trader has been solved by a sticky note. I'm serious. Because the biggest part of fixing our psychology is consciousness. Is thinking about it. If we're not thinking about things, we just are prey to habits. Our normal patterns of thought. The whole goal here and the whole point of these little boot camps and the trader therapy on Fridays that we do is to break these patterns for you. Is to help recognition. You have to be able to recognize. And then hopefully and you're not alone. If you're new, every single one of us has gone through everything you felt over the last 6 months and has done almost everything you've done, I bet. Okay. You sound a little wild. You've blown a few accounts. So maybe not all of us are, to the same extent, but we've all felt everything. We've all gone, we're all still going through it. A lot of us. Okay. But, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Once you realize how much control you have, and the fact that if you can actually make the math work for you, the law of large numbers, the next 1,000 trades, you can put a process in place, cut losses all the time quickly. That's a good trade. It's just a good trajectory that you'll be on. That's all. It's a good trajectory. And you'll have more understanding, for me, peace with what I'm doing instead of so much doubt all the time, you need we need a system. You need a process of trading. You need a process of stock selection, you know? And you need a process of understanding which strategies are in and out of play at any given time. And when it's not working, we need a process to get ourselves out of shitty trading too. You know what I mean? If we're not pulling the trigger and we're supposed to, we need a process to fucking get us pressing buttons again. If we're being too aggressive and we're in the midst of a drawdown because last week we had an amazing week and we wanted to size up, and this week we took a big L and now we're revenge trading, trying to make back last week's gains. We need a system to get out of that. And it's all, and for psychologically, it's mostly consciousness for me. So for example, the first thing that happened when I got over PDT was over trading. All right, naturally, right? I'm like, oh my God, I can cut wherever I want and re-enter. Wow, you know, it's a revelation. Freedom, true freedom. I really struggled with that at first because what I was doing, unbeknownst to me, but I was buying, I was getting my good first screen day entries, getting good risk reward on the first part of my trade. I'd sell it all, good trade, right? But then it kept going up and I could not handle that for a little while, especially once I got over PDT. Before I was over PDT, I didn't really re-enter too much because I'm like, that was a great trade. I only have one or one of three or whatever it is. But after, I called it double dipping. That's what I called it, because I would buy, say I'd buy a buck, I'd sell maybe $1.40. I make 40%. Okay. Well, I'd buy like $1.50 and then I'd sell like $1.30. So I was, and what I didn't realize at the time, and that $1.50 might've been like by pre-market highs or whatever it may be, but I was getting a great risk reward on my first trade and shitty inverse risk reward on the second trade and giving back gains. So I had a sticky note on my computer for like 3 weeks, I think, that said no double dipping. It's only one. I just wrote out no double dipping. You can hardly get me to do that today. That's how ingrained that became for me. You know, I have to tell myself at times, and so especially trading lows when we're buying reversals, there are times where I get stopped out because I'm supposed to be stopped out if it goes through lows. I had to change my process and kind of get away from that mantra to be able to start trading the traps. Does that make sense? A lot of times where I'm trading, the levels I trade at, when they break down, they may be trapping in the morning, you know, or in the afternoon. I'm watching for these levels to break down. And then you see them hold immediately. That's the last bit of shorts that are like, it's like a kind of a palpable thing, I guess you could say. Is there a time where you're watching and you're being really, really patient, where you see maybe lows crack and then lows and then lows, and then you see that wick where you're like, that might be the bottom? Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Because you don't want to though, but right. Yep. It's beautiful. So, and this is what you guys have to understand. That's the other side of the trade. There's someone when you're long, when you need to buy, he needs to buy too. The second he short sells, he's a buyer. He becomes a buyer, you know? And that's what creates kind of those afternoon grinds back up towards VWAP and stuff like that. A bunch of stubborn ass shorts, you know? Exactly. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. So this goes back to the exact point that I'm trying to make about small cap and the macro involved here. If you can just understand what's happening with algorithms and stuff like that too. But what he was saying about risking like higher lows or lower highs, same thing. If you're long, right, and we get big spike and a pullback, and then you want to be long, you can risk that. You can risk that low. If it spikes again and then pulls back a little bit, there's another higher low. You can risk that low, right, and so on and so forth. But at a certain point, I know it's going back to low a day. Just like he knows if he's going to be so the shorts that are doing the opposite and they're risking lower highs, right? They're risking lower highs. Some of them, they're going to be risking the lower high, right? If it gets above the last high, maybe it's going higher. So that's a cut for those people who are shorting weakness or backside. Okay. And so just think about that. That's what's happening there. So that's the whole point of trading reversals for me. Okay. Is that there's a flow of shorts and longs and institutional investors and algorithms. And specifically the algorithms right now are they are stopping everyone out who is doing shit like that. You know what I mean? This is why I'm saying fuck the price action. If I'm trying to buy like higher lows midday and I'm risking those, you're going to get stopped most of the time. You know, there's not that much juice left in them. And that's what they're going to do. That's why they have so much liquidity all day. You know, they're just taking stops out at every level all day, up and down, take it to highs, suck in a bunch of shorts or a bunch of longs, through the breakout of the high, slam it. All those people sell, short sellers come in, back to low a day. That's the whole thing. If you can be patient right now and understand that dynamic, it's so good. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's what the more you can kind of be in that mind frame, it's the contrarian thing. It's thinking outside the box, understanding the macro, and then placing yourself within it. And this is why I say, this is why I'm so limited in my strategies right now. Does that make sense? And entry ideas, I don't have that many anymore because they don't make any sense to me from a macro perspective. I could still trade price action, but. Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's it. It's predictable. And sometimes that thing that they're going to do is spectacular. Seriously, huge pumps. Anyways, we got one more, and then we'll wrap up this session. No, we didn't forget. Okay, we'll get some YouTube questions. That's cool.
All right. My name is Gustavo. I have been trading and studying seriously since May this year. One of my main struggles, well, I have many struggles, but one of the main struggles I am trying to address now is trying to let my winners run when I am down in the day. So I have taken a couple of stop losses like earlier, and then the third one is working, and then that's where I kind of cut it short because, you know, but then it ended up like going all the way my way. Right? So that's what I'm struggling right now.
Sorry, one more time with
I am struggling with letting my winners run when I am down in the day.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, specifically when you're down, that's like that's a pretty specific. I like that.
In general, yes, but I mean, most particularly, I have seen myself, you know, all that figure that comes. Okay, I am down in the day, so now I am positive, and then I just don't respect my plan.
So that's called trading pure P&L. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That is 100%. That's what that is. Okay.
Because what I have done,
No, you're good.
Remove the P&L from my screen. I don't see that at the end of the day, but I still can do some sort of quick math.
Of course. Yeah. No, I totally understand. Again, not visually seeing your P&L, if you can add, you know, if you have like, well, basic math, you'll know, you know, roughly. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing, but I do my best to treat each trade like their own trade. Okay. Are you in the pack? Are you in the chat? Okay. You're in the Discord? Well, if you were watching my live webinars, not this last week, but the week before. No, not the week before. Week before was a flawless week of trading almost. 3 weeks ago. Okay. 3 weeks ago, every overnight I took gap down. Every single one. Every single one of my overnights gap down, and I had to cut them at max risk. Okay. Which was like some of them $3,000, $2,000-3,000 on those. I wasn't, you know, like, so I was waking up 3 weeks ago, for 2 mornings in a row. I woke up, I think it was 2. Someone can correct me maybe, but I woke up to decent amounts of having to cut losses on my overnights, which sucks. You know, I take overnights so I can wake up and take profits. It's fun, but it's obviously not fun when it doesn't work out that way. So that was, I think I recorded all those webinars. I'm not sure if they're up on the site, but they were great lessons because I have never in my life more effectively traded coming off of a morning loss like that than that week. And it really comes down to the same thing that we talk about psychologically. All that I care about in a trade, all I care about. I don't think about the money. I think about the price action. I think about where's my risk. All I'm doing, I'm either cutting or I'm taking profits. And it sounds kind of basic, but in my head, that's all I'm thinking about doing. The second I take a position, okay, I've planned the trade before the trade, right? I know where I'm going to exit. I know where I want to sell it, up and down, right? Not only do I know where I want to sell it, and this is going to help you with, this is all going to go together for you, okay? But I have a plan, okay? So I know where I want to risk. I know where I want to sell. Just because I'm losing on the day doesn't mean anything, okay? Now there are times where the P&L will affect me, okay? But for the most part, I'm thinking, how many shares do I have? Where am I going to cut it? Where am I going to sell it? That's it. And I really, truly live in that. If you listen to me, I'm watching price action. I'm trying to gauge price action. I'm watching the tape. I'm watching level 2. When it gets to my first target, I'm selling shares. Right? And then it's all about how long can I hold on this thing and size out? Okay. So is it a third that I take off? Is it a fifth? That's all going to be trade by, case by case basis. But the P&L thing, it comes back down to each trade's individual and you'll get better at it over time. I mean, I can't tell you an actual hack that I have for that. It's just a matter of every single trade needs to be treated individually, So I don't want to be looking at plays or trading with a tinted view due to my trade, which means nothing to the fucking markets. Your P&L is meaningless. You know what I mean? So why should your P&L be telling you when you're supposed to be leaving? You're supposed to be exiting based on the chart and level 2 and the tape. That's what, and your plan, okay? The easiest fix for me when it comes to not taking profits, regardless of the circumstance, I don't care about any other trade, is having levels that I know I'm going to sell to. And then that's it. That's the plan. Anything personal takes you out of objectively gauging price action, right? Easier said than done. Yeah.
Is when I just kind of started, is like I was struggling with being read in a trade. That's why I have the initial being read on a trade, lose a trade. So that's why I had the initial problem of like, okay, I don't respect my stop loss, and I have big losses. Now I learned to accept that mentally, so I cut my losses short. I cut my losses on time. Good. But now I have to accept to be green on the day. I think that's one of the things. My hypothesis is like, okay, I am losing in the day. I don't want to be green on the day. No, I am good with the trade, but now with the day, it's something that I kind of try to maybe incorporate to my mindset again. So I just something I'm still working on. Sure. Thank you.
Is it possible that last trade that you end up not being able to hold, maybe because you are actually creating your take profit levels based on the fact you're already down on the day? So you're not even actually trading the chart like you think you might be, but you're trading it so that you can gain those losses back. Because I recognized I was doing that, where I would like put my profit levels where I would be able to regain whatever it was that I had essentially lost. Right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're literally doing math on the trade to make back your trade. That's yeah, I see what you're saying.
Thank you for that, because that's, as I mentioned at the beginning, there's many struggles that I am going on right now. That's one of them, but that's a separate one, in which I am actually letting I have my levels where I have to take profits, but because I am Fred on the day. Okay, no, I haven't recovered it. And then I let it go. I'm not gonna stop it. I'm not gonna take profits. And then I let it go run, and it goes against me. So that's another. So yeah, thank you.
Those go together. I mean, all of that is trading P&L. All of it. You know? Process-wise, if you guys listen to my process when I'm trying to come up with the size I'm trading and the risk that I have, none of it has anything to do with my personal life. None of it. Fucking zero has to do with my last trade and how much I won or lost on it. Zero has to do with that, right? I want to take each trade, give it the respect it deserves. And every single fucking ounce of my energy and my focus needs to go in executing my fucking plan. Even me, I'm super disciplined at this point. It's been a long time doing this. And I'm, same with Panther. He's got certain things built into his system. When it's time to cut, there's no bullshit. You know what I mean? There's no self-talk for me. Like, I don't know. Like, oh, what am I down? I'm down a little bit. Whoa. No, there's none. That voice does not enter my head. The voice, so when I enter a position, usually, hopefully, that's the closest I'm going to be to my risk, right? For the whole trade. So when I enter, I open a market stop order most of the time, depending on size and stuff like that. I open a market stop order and I sit there hovering over it with my finger on the mouse. That's what I do when I enter a position. There's no bullshit, guys. There's no talk about, there's no like, ooh, I didn't put the order in on time. There's none of that shit. It's just, I'm ready to cut it. That's my job. I'm like so ready to do my job. All I have to do for my job right now, if it doesn't work, is just click this fucking little button. I got to move my finger 2 centimeters down, 1 centimeter. Boop. We're done. Trade's done. Work's done. Go find another one. That's the trade. I love that. It's easy. I always talk about it. Losses are way easier for me. If I'm in a winning position, I got to work now. I'm like, oh, I got to fucking watch price action. And I know it's going to be a disappointment at some point because I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like I'm going to sell too many. I'm not going to sell enough. Like then it becomes emotionally more work to me, right? If you can get to that point in your trading where like the loss takes care of itself no matter what, that it just is what it is. You remove yourself from a lot of bad scenarios. You are putting yourself in that position where we're talking about the next 1,000 trades. You're good. I promise. I promise. Even if you don't find the strategy or you're not doing certain things, you're going to be okay. Once you do. If you can minimize downside, figure out how to pick the right stocks or assets or whatever else it is that you're trading, and then figure out how to place yourself within it, within the players, and then give yourself, if nothing else, sell to the other sheep. It's a great feeling. I love where I sell because I know some guru is telling people to buy it there. And they're gonna give me the volume I need to sell it wherever the fuck I want to, into strength. You know the feeling when you're chasing strength? You know how fun it is selling there? Do you know how fun that is to just put your orders up and see it like climb to your orders and get you filled? Or cover? So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But at the end of the day, the P&L, how much money you have, your wife, your husband, your hopes and dreams and desires mean fuck all to the markets. They don't care. It's a ruthless environment. Someone's going to take your money. I'm probably going to be selling to you when you buy it, and I made my money. And then you go to see I made money on the day. Holy shit, like that's where I was buying it, and I sold it to you. And maybe it went higher too, but I don't care. That's the whole point. Because like when people see an entry, I'm up 50% on my position, 40% on my position, 30% on my position by the time they're entering, So so like psychology wise, it's different. You know what I mean? When you see the trades that work for me, they're really chill. And the ones that don't, for the most part, unless they're overnights and I get caught in offerings, they're even more chill. I just cut it. People want to see like live trades of me cutting. I'm like, it's be the boringest shit you've ever seen in your life. It just goes through the level and I press sell. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to cutting losses, Yeah, no, I'm down. I'll do like an hour video. I'll do an hour video of all my cuts or something like that. Yeah. Just a montage of literally 5-second trades, like 30 seconds. I think it'd be cool. What do you think at home? If you like that idea, smash the like. Smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Yeah.
Have you thought about covering your P&L, like just removing that widget completely from your screen, taping it closed, and just like not looking at? Because if you know the dollar amount you entered the trade with, you don't really need to always look at that P&L. You know, as long as you know your dollar amount in there, you can gauge based off of the chart at that point. You know, if you're, you know, like how much you're up or down. And at that point, you know, just like Tim Gattani was the one that taught me this, you know, too. Like, you know, like just.
Oh, me too. Yep.
Slap it closed, remove it, but seriously do it. Like, don't say I'm gonna do it and then peek. You know, just like fully cover it and know your risk, like, you know, by the dollar amount that you're entering with, and give it a try, because we get in our heads, and sometimes just that doing that might help. You know.
Thank you for that. Yes, I was starting with that, and now I removed that, so I'm not looking at the P&L.
Good.
As I was saying,
You still know.
you still know.
Yep.
You have been stopped on two times. Okay, you know. Right. So it's just you don't need the exact number, but you know probably that you're right. True.
I don't look at the trading as money when I'm trading. I look at it as how many shares can I get to risk what I want to risk. You know, how many shares do I have? And then in the trade, all I'm doing is watching tape, time and sales, especially at key levels, and trying to figure out how many shares I want to sell where. Like, do I need to sell more? Do I need to sell more? Take profits, take profits. That's literally all I'm doing. I don't really look at my P&L ever, to be honest. Like I'll post it in chat and stuff like that. But during the trading day, so there's some weeks I don't even look at it, you know? If I wasn't teaching, there were some weeks I wouldn't even have to look at it. I know it's just a great week of trading, you know? The bad weeks bad trades and stuff, that's when I focus in and see, did I make a mistake? Or was I sized up on purpose and I took a big loss? There's differences, you know? People talk about how do you recover from a big loss? I'm not, it depends. Was the big loss my fault, or was I sized up on purpose and just took a big loss? There's two different kinds of big losses. No, it's, so that's key to me. You know, did I take a big unexpected loss that I wasn't planning on taking, or was I sized up and I cut at risk and it happens to be a big loss? Big difference. But, I'm more concerned with, any loss where I'm just not doing my job. So if it's a big loss and I can go back and say, hey, I didn't cut, I didn't have a plan, I didn't know where I was going to sell it, I chased it, I didn't have good risk reward, all those basic main things that I like to get in my trades, that's what I'm going to break down. Was I revenge trading? Was I doing certain things that, you know, aren't going to help in the long term? No way. What's up, dude? Sorry, one sec, y'all. Okay, we're going to I'm going to hit some questions actually. Hold on. Oh, it's all good, dude. I got the chat too. I'll run through it. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. All right, you guys. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Here, hold up. Everybody wants to hear your voice. Oh, it's a 360. Give you a voice actor. Yeah, 360 camera in here. Yeah, bro. Yeah, for when we don't have people or whatever. Who the hell are these people? No. All right. All right. Yeah, I got it. So actually, if you're at home, we're going to open it up to a little bit of Q&A real fast for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to wrap this one up. I am currently beating Jack Kellogg in fantasy 89.9 to 68.50, but up 71 now. He's definitely going to beat me, though. Just to let you guys know, if anyone wonders. I can kick his ass, so it doesn't matter, though. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Okay, I'm going to hit a few questions from home. Home as well. Kevin asked, am I going to Traders for a Cause? Not sure yet. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't quite made a decision. I'd like to. Joe asked about impulsive trade management, sub-dollars and Israeli stocks. Yeah, we're not going to get into specific stocks right now. I've talked a lot about sub-dollars. This is more of a psychological session, but in terms of impulsive trade management, simplest answer for me is if I don't have a trading plan and I don't know where I'm going to cut it and I don't know where I'm going to sell it, don't trade. It's that simple. It's really that simple. If I don't have great risk reward to my target number one, don't trade. It's just that simple. Keep it really basic, okay? Francisco reminds Re-Educate Yourself 21 of their stepfather. Just to let you know. Okay. Slow market, how to stop reattacking a play. Shut your freaking computer down. Have some discipline. You know what I mean? Why reattack and reattack? The only time, so for me, if it's not a trade where it's like that I just mentioned, where it's my setup, I have good risk, I have good reward, the macro is right, then I don't trade. It's not to say I don't ever impulsively trade. You know what I mean? I'm a human. But it's to say like 99.99% of the time, I'm not doing that. I have a plan. I know I'm going to buy it and sell it. And that plan's based off of something realistic. You know what I mean? And it's something, I have a process for it. So, okay. Subscribers only mode. Do you want to chat real quick? We didn't hit. Gotta hit Sunny, man.
What's up, y'all? This is Sunny. I was the one messaging y'all or responding to y'all in the chat room or in the chat YouTube chat. But what I'm struggling with right now is I think Francisco or someone mentioned it in the Francisco. That's your husband, right? Hey, what's up, Francisco? What's up? What's up? We here with Stacy. But yeah, that's him. But what I'm struggling with right now is like the markets is just slow. It's not performing the way I want it to. Of course, I don't have any control over that, but the strategy I'm playing the gap and cap reversals, it's just not working as well as me purchasing like a micro float pre-market and just longing it pre-market while it goes parabolic. That hasn't worked in in a couple years, and it's just very frustrating because that's my bread and butter. That's what I was succeeding at, and that's what got me to turn a 25K account to like 54K in 2 months and 2 weeks, and now nothing's working. I'm just like upset and depressed. But I know the answer to my question, but I just want to say it just so you guys can understand as well. But the answer to my question is like I just gotta chill out and just wait it out. The market is gonna do what it's gonna do, and I have no control over it. So I have to just sit back, trade small, cut losses quicker, and just keep practicing, keep studying, keep practicing my strategy. And then when the market comes back, I'm well prepared and ready to attack again. It's just a matter of patience. I'm so impatient. I'm like, I want it now. Like when I want something, I want it now, and I'm gonna do anything and everything I can to get it. But it's a self-discipline thing. I just have to be patient, work on it. One thing I'm doing too is I'm watching everybody else on how they're performing with the same strategy I'm playing, looking at the past history so that I can be like, okay, you trade the same strategy that I'm trading this way. I'm going to take a few notes, figure out the little nuances that you use to improve, and then add it to my arsenal. So that's what I'm struggling with, but I also answered my question as well. But little by little, every day I'm going to keep improving.
Thanks, man. And thanks for helping out with the stream and stuff. Who knows Sonny? Sonny been around a long time, right? He was at the first conference I went to back in the day. And Sonny's been around a long time. He came to the Miami boot camp a couple months ago. And we're just talking about super dedicated and someone who has literally no quit in him. He's not going to quit. But he's blown up how many? 7? 8? About 8 accounts. More than most, Each 25K. Yeah. And so when he came to me in Miami, months back, I'm like, dude, you either change, you've been doing this long enough, right? That's what I said. We're like, you've been doing this long enough. You either make the changes now or you go about your life, dude. You don't need to spend more time on it if you're not going to cut your losses. You don't need to blow up again. Remember? That's what I said. I'm like, we don't have to blow up ever again if you don't want. We just got to do the right things. Give you some new ideas too. He's playing off lows now. He's doing reversals. He's not chasing strength. He's not chasing bullshit. And because of that, he hadn't blown bullshit up yet, right? He's not chasing random crap, and he's getting a system under his belt. He's getting a system and some type of confidence, So it is cool to see, I don't necessarily, the only trick. So people ask me if I'm not the person to say whether you can trade or not. I'm not that. I'll never judge anyone and be like, you're too stupid or you're not good enough at math or you're too stubborn. If you're willing to change it all, I think you can be a trader. If you're willing to rewire what you're doing and what you're thinking, you can do it, with the right help and the right attitude and perspective. The people who I find I can't work with are really impatient people. The people who have to make money tomorrow, if that's where you're coming from, you're in trouble as a trader, If it's me and I need money tomorrow, I'm going to find something else to do other than trade. Honestly, I'll find a different hustle to make money for tomorrow, because if you're trading from that place where I need money, you're going to lose money. You're not going to lock gains in. You're not going to sell. It's not enough. You're not going to cut. You can't lose. All these things. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So there's the only people who it's a red flag. I don't really want to work with you. You know what I mean? And it's nothing personal. It's just, I know that you're going to be a pain in my ass. Most likely. It's true. And I don't get many of them. I've had very few students who I'm like, screw that person. Okay. Very, very few. But the one thread between all of them, they needed money, a lot of it, or maybe not a lot, but they needed money. And that's why they're trading. And that's what dictates their life every day. And that's the shadow cast upon the charts that they trade. They're looking at everything tinted with this view of money. I don't think about money at all when I'm trading. I don't think about it other than if you guys are asking me about something about my money or realized or whatever, you know. I am thinking, how many shares do I have left? Where do I need to sell them? How am I going to sell? You know, like all I'm thinking about is the trade. So thanks, Sonny, man. It's great. It's, you know, I mean, he was living in his car and like studying trading from his car after blowing up accounts and shit, right? Holy shit. Yeah, not just for a little bit. Okay. So that's why I told him, like, let's not go back there. We don't have to, especially long. If you were just a short seller, I'd understand you blowing up your account all the time, but long, that's tough, dog. Yep. I get it. So, okay, let's hit a few more questions here. What time is it? It's only 1:30. Nice. If I missed your question, re-ask it, please, in the chat. What's up, B? B the trader. It's my boy. All right. Ever congratulate B on having a baby? In chat, too. Everyone know he's got a baby? His first? It's a big deal. I've kept it a secret for a long ass time. Okay. Uh-huh. Yep. Is there a benefit to trading with PDT versus cash account if you have a small account? The benefit to having a PDT account is you can use all your capital 3 times a week for a day trade, right? So if I've got 2K in the account, I can use 2K 3 times, right? Cash account's cool because there's no PDT. Problem is, small account. I don't mind the idea of a cash account, honestly, with a small account. I don't. I think it kind of frees you from the constraints of worrying about PDT. PDT is, like if you're new and stuff, you're probably going to mess it up, honestly, when you're trying to trade. Every broker is different that I've seen. Almost every single broker has been different. Some you buy it once, sell it twice. That's 1 day trade. Some I buy it, if I buy it once, sell it twice, that's 2 day trades. So you have to figure out your broker, you know? I like the idea of cash accounts, you know? The only problem is if I have 2K and I use 500 of that, I don't have that. I can't use that again once I've sold it for 2 more days. It's T-2 settlement. I think they're shortening that time soon. Or they did. So that it's T+1 or something. Day after. Okay. So that's what I'll say. I think both have advantages and disadvantages. You know? And if we have any questions in here too, we can rock. I think I hate fantasy football. Sorry, guys. Stupid. Hold on. I'm gonna hit Sonny's question real quick. What were you saying?
How do you handle like market being slow?
Yeah. Yep. How do I handle a slow market? Trade less. Enrich the rest of my life more, if that makes sense. I like to be in front of my computer trading if it's gonna pay me, right? That's it. Slower markets, less trading. Slower markets, I sell most of my shares into target 1, whatever that target is, right? Instead of getting to the pre-market highs and whatever else. Screw that. If the VWAP's the closest target to me, I'm selling there, right? But I really, really believe that slow markets are a great time to do other shit with your life, you know? I was so obsessed with trading for so long. All my worth everything about me was like identifying as trader. Okay. And that served its purpose for a really long time in terms of the passion. It's still there, you know, it never went away. But along the way, I realized it's just not everything, you know, and it's actually not healthy. It's not really healthy to just sit and obsess about the markets. That's really what I do. You know, you'll see me get kind of more jacked during those periods of time. You know, I'll spend a lot of time in the gym. I spend a lot of time with my kids. Because I know in a hot market, I need to spend more time in the markets. Does that make sense? So anytime the market's cool for me, one of the biggest, I just got the chills right now again. One of the biggest priorities to me when markets cool down is my kids. Like that's the beauty of my job. The beauty of my job is I'm home all day anyways. And when markets are hot, I'm still home, okay? Now they may come in my room and I may be like, not right now, buddy. You gotta go. Not right now. But the rest of the time, it's like, come on in, sit on my lap and like, see what daddy does. You know what I mean? It's fucking beautiful. So that's really where it's at. 2022, I got so depressed with that identity. I forgot what else I was. Dad, husband, musician. There's a lot of shit I'm into, you know what I mean? That I just put on the way, way back burner. I have a lot of interest, man. I'm like a OCD, schizophrenic. I got a lot of shit going on, man. You know, I got a lot of talents. I've been ADD my whole life. So, you know, my life's been a series of getting good at things that I like, ignoring everything else in my life other than what I like, getting good at it until it bores me, right? So I'm like pretty damn good at so many things, better than most people at so many things, but not completely proficient because trading, soccer, and
putting the back seats down, so my big ass can lay down in the back. Excuse me for my language. So I can lay down in the back seat, and I'm studying, and I'm just constantly losing every single trade. It brought my self-esteem so low. I wanted to turn into like, I don't even do drugs or smoke or drink. I don't do none of that. But at that time, that's the first thing that was on my mind. And after a while, I had to learn to separate myself from that and understand I still have value, even though I wasn't performing well. Even now to this day, I don't even, I think it's on now. Yeah, it's on. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So even now, I don't even think like that anymore, where I'm just like, hey, I'm underperforming. I'm useless in life. I'm a loser. I used to really think that I'm a loser, and I had to understand that I'm not a loser. I'm not this person who's living in this car, homeless, struggling. I'm not that person. I'm just trying to find my way. I'm trying to make things happen. So while y'all all gonna struggle in trading, you said you were doing you're trading for 7 years, and you haven't. Trust me, I'm right above you, but you're not too far behind me. But trust me, I think it's going. I don't know. Trust me, you're not too far behind me. But don't. And you said something about. I think you said yesterday that someone was like kind of like bringing you down or something like that, or someone was doubting you or something. Your daughter. And then someone else said here that. The lady who was here, Judy. She was saying that her father said that if she don't figure this out by the end of the year, she needs to cut her losses and stop trading. And in my head, I was thinking like, bruh, don't ever give up. Do not give up. Don't listen to your father who says you can't do it. I got to remind myself not to listen to my brother who said, just give up, go take a different career path. My sisters who tell me just get a job and work and just have a W-2 for the rest of my life. I refuse. I've been wanting to do this since I was in the second grade. I dreamed of trading before I even knew what trading was. Like, I could remember as a kid telling my teacher, Mr. C, I don't know his entire last name, but we call him Mr. C because he had a long last name. And I told him, I said, I want to be able to make money in different places on a computer or a laptop, and I can go anywhere around the world making thousands of dollars. I want to be able to do that. And I said, he's like, how are you going to do that? I said, I just want to be able to invest in businesses where I give them my money and we sign a contract saying, hey, you promise me to give me X amount of money, or at least give me my money back if you can't double my money or triple my money. And he was like, you know, they already got that. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm going to create that business one day. He's like, they already got that. It already exists. And I'm like, what is it then? He's like, the stock market. I'm like, what is the stock market? What is it? I'm in like the second grade. What is the stock market? And he explained it to me. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I doubt anybody's ever going to teach someone something like that, because you can make a lot of money doing it. And he's like, yes, they teach you. And I'm like, I doubt they ever teach me. I'm from the ghetto. I'm from the hood. Nothing but gang violence. Ain't nobody going to teach me this, because I'm probably they're probably going to see me as a risk or a criminal or a hoodlum. So I'm like, I doubt they're going to teach me it. And then when I turned 19, I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to do everything I can to learn. And that's when I started trading. But you're going to have a lot of people, trust me, I had a lot of people say I can't do it, especially living in that car. But you're going to have a lot of people saying you can't make it, but you got to believe in yourself. I had $100,000. I think that's when I turned that 25K into 50K. Plus I had other investments, and I showed my brother, hey, I got 100 G's. And I'm like probably like the first in my family or the second in my family to have 100 G's. And they didn't believe me, and then boom, blew up. Trust me, boom, blew up. Put money in other investments. I put like probably like 30 or 40K into Dogecoin when it was before it started running up, and it went to like 76 cents before he went on SNL, the Saturday Night Live, and I was up like a substantial amount, and then I was like, I think it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going, and I did not realize buy the rumor, sell the news. I did not understand that. I understand it now after losing all that money. Buy the rumor, sell the news. And I was up a substantial amount. And then when he got on a television show, he said what he said, which I didn't even understand what he was talking about. And next thing you know, I see, boom, my profit dropped by a substantial amount, probably like 5-6K. Then it just kept dropping. I'm like, what's going on? And something told me in my head, sell. But I'm like, no, I trust in Elon Musk. I trust in him, and I still do. I love Elon Musk, and I held and hoped forever. And right now it's at 6 cents, and I'm literally only up like 5K from like 35 G's, 40 G's, and that was devastating because I lost my father's house, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. That was the money that I was going to use to purchase the house back. Because at one point I said, okay, I'm blowing up so much, I'm going to stop hustling to make money. I'm just going to I'm going to stop hustling to make money to trade. I'm just going to stack up this money to buy my father's house back that I lost. And I was blaming myself, and I had that 100K, and I was like, you know what? I think I got it this time. I think I can succeed at trading this time. So instead of buying the house or putting it as a down payment, I put it into trading. And once again, boom, I blew up and lost all that money. So that was devastating, but I'm never going to give up. Never going to give up.
Dude, but no, I mean, here's my take on the giving up thing, okay? If you're not willing to do certain things, fucking give up. That's what I think. Don't waste your time. This is my opinion, man. If you're not going to take it seriously and you're just here to try to make a buck or whatever, don't do it. Like, go do anything else than trade. That's what I think. If you're not going to take it seriously, do anything else. Seriously. Because you will waste your life. You will waste time. You will waste money. Straight up, you know? If you can be teachable, if you have the right perspective, anyone can do it, I think. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. In fact, some of the smartest people I know struggled a lot with trading because they're too smart. They need to know too many things, and they have, they want to be perfect. Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't make sense to them, So if you're willing, as long as you're willing to be open-minded, coachable, teachable, understand the macro first, and you're not in to just make a buck every day, and you're trying to set a process that's going to change your life over the next couple years, you know, over the next couple thousand trades, hopefully. But, yeah, man. So it's kind of the same thing for me. Either you're coachable, and if you're coachable and you're open-minded and you're doing all these things and you're working hard and you're with a mentor and it hasn't worked at all and you haven't made any progress, you need to move. You got to move on. That's just what it is for me. You know, if I could go back and talk to myself, I'd be like, all right, let's move from this to this to that. Like, you got to keep getting new knowledge. People are only going to, so it is a cop-out that trading is hard, I think. I didn't think that at first. I used to say that a lot. Oh, trading's really hard. You got to do it for like 4 years. It took me less than a year, guys. And it took me less than a year, and I was going through a bunch of bullshit. I read every freaking book and a lot of stuff on investing and a lot of stuff that just didn't have anything to do with what I'm trying to do as a trader. But I was super open and on a path, you know? There was no... You got to be somewhat humble, you know? You got to have kind of an empty cup. It really is what it comes down to. Any time in my trading where I thought I've known, like I got a grip on everything, has always been the most danger I've been in throughout my career. That and when I size up, those 2 times. But let me see. Any more questions in here right now? I just keep it open for now. Yeah. Good question. Really good question. So the question was, how do I manage risk for overnight positions? And the answer is through my entry. Okay? The answer is through my entry, generally speaking. So what do I mean by that? I mean, sorry, hold on. The idea for me, a good overnight, I'm already up 15 or 20%, okay? Going into the overnight. So if a stock's like spiking into close, I hate buying it. I don't want to buy and then let my trade live or die with the percentage gap the next day. Does that make sense? So if a stock's closing strong at like $2, $3, $4, $5, I don't care what it is, I don't like to buy it, okay? It's like a chase into close. So what I really like to do for when I'm looking for overnights like ICU last week, some of the other ones, is that is where my midday reversal buy comes in the day before, okay? The whole point of that so the whole point of my midday, late afternoon trades, because afternoon trades are way different than the morning trades. Somewhat similar, but different. The idea for the afternoon is find a reversal, okay, off lows again, and then that same thing that we were talking about when it gets into VWAP, so the midday reversal, in other words, let me see if I can pull one up for you. I'll just illustrate this for you really, really well, actually. This has traded a lot of price action, but front side move, right? Sorry, 1 second, y'all. I want to find the right part of the move here. It's this part, right? Here we go. Perfect. Okay. Here's ICU, right? Last week, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. So this is a day one gapper, right? Day one gapper on news for ICU that day. They were one of those 50-cent stocks, okay? They spiked to 80. They pulled back. I was long here for the overnight. Does that make sense? It's kind of weird, but it's the midday, late afternoon, early afternoon reversal, late morning. This low can occur in the morning too, right? So if you look at this candle, these are 15-minute candles, but this is noon. Look at that. Bottomed out at noon, right? Midday. The low was 60 cents. I had it in the 60s. right? I had it in the 60s. I sold some into high a day, which we always got to do, okay? I sold some in a high a day, which is this level here. Right? So I sold some in here, but because I was long from 60 something, when it's closing at 80, see this candle, man? Do you see this candle right here? That's the point. I didn't give a shit about it. Didn't freak me out, didn't scare me out. I was green still, actually, okay? That's the point. Though I don't like to buy into the close. I don't like to chase into the close. Again, so that's the idea. When I'm looking for overnights, I'm actually, it's something that I have to think about kind of ahead of time, if that makes sense. By the time it's spiking in a close, it's too late. I don't like buying those. So I have an idea, honestly, I have a preconceived idea if I'm coming into the week and I'm going to be overnighting it all. I hope that makes sense. If overnights didn't work last week, I'm not taking stocks overnight this week. If I wasn't seeing stocks gap up last week, right? Why the hell am I going to be overnight? I'm not. So you only see me overnight when I notice that stocks are gapping up on good news after day one moves, okay? So the idea is if I want to be overnight, I got to anticipate it, find the low, get good risk reward, and hopefully be up 10 to 20% on my position going into the overnight, depending on the price range, obviously. Higher price stocks, a little more range, a little less percentage gain and stuff like that. But the whole point of this is we have to de-risk, okay? It's all garbage. They're all doing offerings, remember? When do offerings take place? Most of the time, they're going to drop them in the morning or right at the close or in the afternoon, okay? So that's the whole point, is that even if I get caught up in offerings, I'm mitigating the risk, okay? Even PRZO last week, I was in the offering, but I had a decent entry. I had already locked a bunch, so I was mitigating risk. But does that make sense, by the way? Because people are like, oh, I'm so scared. I'm like, yeah, you're scared because no matter what, if it gaps up or down, so are you. So that's why it's scary. For me, it's like, I don't care. If it gaps down, so what? I'll still probably be green and I just won't make as much money tomorrow. You know what I mean? The other part of that trade, crap, hold on. The other part of this trade, the other big part of this overnight for me was that I sold in the high days. I actually sold after hours into this push towards 92, I think. Going back if I remember correctly. So I had sold, I don't remember exactly how many, but I had taken I think half of my position off in the highs already. So I'm working with house money no matter what if it gaps down. Does that make sense? So I literally this candle didn't scare me at all. It got all the way down to 70 cents. Right? But long from the 60s and it's in the 80s, I'm already up 30% on my position. Right? That's the biggest advice I can give you is, first of all, if stocks aren't gapping up overnight, don't do it. It doesn't make sense to do it. We always talk about this. Don't fight the tide. Don't swim against the tide. Don't swim against the current. There's no need. And it will really hurt you in trading. And when I say the current, I mean the markets, like what the markets are doing. I don't mean what everyone else is doing. We know that's exactly what we do, is go against what everyone else does, okay? But that's the biggest tip I can give you for overnights for all of you. Figure out how to actually be up going into your overnight. And then it's chill. It's really, really chill. Okay? And it goes back to what we were saying, and this whole session is based on the psychology stuff. It goes back to the strategy needs to supplement the health of my trading psychology and vice versa. Does that make sense? As opposed to where I'm entering and the strategies I'm playing, always messing with that. Always, making it difficult for me to stay in trades. So hopefully you'll see the ideas that I have and stuff are built for specific reasons to avoid dilution if I can. And if I am going to get dumped on, hopefully I have a decent entry, whatever it is, right? The locking, the buying the weakness, the selling into highs, the selling into VWAP and stuff like that, flipping the script, it all will come together eventually, hopefully. Good question though. What else we got? Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, if I'm swinging, unless there's something specific with market conditions or something, just set your risk. I don't trade. I try my best to not treat swing trades much differently from my day trades. It's just a bigger time frame. You know what I mean? So remember your original conviction in the trade. That's what I'll say. I always try, like if I start getting freaked out in a swing and I'm not supposed to be, my risk isn't breached yet. Remember why you're in it in the first place. You know what I mean? But I know what but there comes a point where like you were expecting something and maybe nothing is going to materialize for a long time, you know? Mm-hmm. What was the question though? Sorry. When to capitulate. Capitulate when risk is met, but what else? Mm-hmm. No, there are times I'm overnight for sure, and I'm not, and that didn't happen, where I'm up 10, 20, 30% on. There are plenty of times where that's happened. But when that happens, I don't feel, it's not as comfortable of a thing for me, to the point where I try really not to do it. So, her question was, first, would you capitulate on like a swing trade that hasn't moved for you yet, you know? And it's just kind of being weak. And the answer to that was, well, either when it breaches risk or if I'm too bored of it. You know what I mean? It's fine. The second part, which was, what was the second part? Sorry. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. But if we're talking bottom bouncers, the real strategy that I use on those, if I deem it to be a bottom bouncer, is the same I'm going to do with like intraday reversals, which is use the lows on the daily chart, right? Use the lows on the daily chart, really, at the end of the day. Now, if I'm trading like 10-cent stocks or 9, like I might give it a half a penny or penny wiggle room or something like that. But you really don't want to. You know what I mean? I've been trying to I'll find some answers to some of these. I have plans on doing some stuff with data with all these bottom bouncers and try to maybe hone in on more whys, right? I guarantee the whys that I found to trade what I trade, there's way more of them. Probably better ones even, with more macro that like would give you such conviction on certain things. So can you guys still not hear me? Can they hear me at home? Okay, good. Mm-hmm.
What kind of data do you still keep in order to figure out what is working now? Do you keep?
No, I track my trades. It's a rolling thing. It's rolling for me. And I've been in so many trade modes in every different market now. And I just have very kind of specific set system-wise and process-wise through whatever's happening. Doesn't really matter to me so much. So I welcome new environments and stuff. It gives me an opportunity to get better and to be ready for whatever that environment may be when it goes away next year or something like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I learn new patterns, I learn new strategies and new markets I haven't traded out of necessity, you guys. This is not stagnant. It's a moving target always trading. the success, it's elusive, and that you always have to adapt. You're always constantly adapting. I learned that so early on. I learned that really, really early on, that it could be day-to-day adaptation. And because of that, I've spent every single day trying to always be adapting, try not to get stagnant with a pattern, trying to get stagnant with what I'm doing. And all the worst periods of my trading have come from stagnancy, from me not actively adapting to the markets, right? Uh-huh. I would suggest it. She asked, would I suggest tracking data? Yes. But I'm equal data, equal discretion. There's so much discretion for being long, but you can't be all discretion. Most crappy traders are almost 100% discretion. But by discretion, I mean like impulse. Sup. Do I have a secondary mic? Why is this not working? Oh, for other people and stuff? Yeah, I'm just repeating the questions, and we don't have that much longer anyways, because I have to try to get to the airport on time this time. What time is it? It's 2? I gotta go pretty soon. 5:40, yeah. But we're pretty close to the airport. I'll be fine. I have this room till tomorrow too, so I mean, I could just. I wanted to teach you guys. I wanted to take you all to a blackjack table, so I can demonstrate position sizing for you. I'm not kidding. Do you think I'm kidding? I'm 100,000% serious. I position size as a trader the way I position size as a blackjack player when I used to play heavy amounts of blackjack and counting cards. When the count was there, when it got best, when the opportunity was best, I bet a lot. I bet as much as I could, as I could handle. And when the count was bad, meaning there's a bunch of low cards in the deck, the opposite, minimum bet, the minimum. It served me really well as a trader. A lot of people get stuck stock size. You just trade one size. You just risk a $50 per trade, $50 per trade. That makes zero sense. You're an amateur blackjack player, essentially. Good people who make money as gamblers know how to work their money. Does that make sense? They know how to work their bankroll. Same thing with trading. Even if you have a small account, when I'm trading a small account, at certain times I'm using all of it. Other times I'm using none of it or not trading. Does that make sense? I also have to remember when I trade small accounts for you guys now, it's not as me when I used to trade small, like as a noob. So I'm doing my best. I'm doing my absolute best when I do the small account challenges to not be like, fuck it, who cares? It's not that, you know what I mean? I'm doing my best, and to not just YOLO because I don't know. But okay, one more thing. What else, you guys? What else we got going on? Anything else? We are gonna have to wrap up pretty soon.
I have one question I keep trying to get answered. It's when an exercise price is hit, are they able to dump shares from then on, or is it always has to stay above that?
Yeah. No, she asked when an exercise price is hit, when they're diluting, does it have to then stay over that for them to dump them? No. Nope. No, so here's the thing. They didn't really pay that price for those. The warrants that they have and they're going to be exercising were free. Does that make sense? Yeah. They do the offering at a set price. Then they also give them warrants on top of that at a set price with the exercise price. But that's like a bonus. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't even matter, and then a lot of them they're protected. They have anti-dilution clauses. They have price protection clauses. They have full ratchet. They have all the stuff they need. Yeah. No ATMs wherever. Yeah. 280. Yeah. Yep. But look at the deal. A lot of those warrants will be pre-funded sometimes. Like they have so many ways of sweetening the deal for these people, like we talked about yesterday. Oh, real quick, want to thank. We actually got a sponsor for this event. It was COBRA. COBRA. Big thank you to COBRA for sponsoring the event. We'll put some links. We'll put some links in the description as well for anyone who wants to use them. Awesome broker. Great people over there. And I'm going to start teaming up with them and bringing you guys a lot of stuff. So big shout out to COBRA and everyone over there. They're awesome. Again, we'll put some links down below with some discounts and stuff for you guys. So on top of that, we're going live tomorrow for pre-market prep on YouTube again. So we'll see you guys. If you're not part, make sure you're subscribed and you hit the like button, etc. Let me see what other questions we had. All right. Actually, what we're going to do is wrap up the stream. Okay. We're going to wrap this stream up. Thank you for everyone who joined. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Smash the like. No, we'll be doing pre-market prep tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern live on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell notification, etc. And we will catch you guys tomorrow morning for pre-market prep. Thanks for joining. Hope you guys got something from it. And we'll catch you tomorrow. All right.